Nick Wright has developed a funny lane in becoming like one of the best ever at the giving of takes, and he's going to be on with us later today. But he's part wrestling character and just super smart about being a media savant. And so I have made fun of him for, I'm going to say, 6 or 7 years, because he decided that the controversial lane he was going to take for all time is that LeBron is better than Jordan, and he was just going to keep doing that, and it's a silly discussion and empty, and you can argue it and not be right forever. I have what I believe to be a quintessential Nick Wright take today. In that, I fully believe, and somehow discovered this just yesterday, that in the modern age of we cover the hell out of everything super well, super intensely, and Lionel Messi is the most famous athlete in the world, he is wildly underappreciated. That's my shocking take. Like, wildly underappreciated, that as Zaz makes the argument, yeah, if our athletes played, they'd be the best. And this 5'6", 160-pound dude he's a fucking genie. He does things with his feet that I believe the world understood and America did not, because it's been behind a paywall on Apple. America does not understand. I've been sitting here saying this guy's been playing against plumbers. He ain't now. And England's sending 3 ghosts from centuries beyond to go chase him. He's like, no, I'm just going to put it right there. You know we have other guys who can score, right?
For me, I look at Messi yesterday. I'm watching this game. I see that last goal. And my first thought to myself was, man, I should probably go see this guy play for Inter Miami, right? Like, he plays here. I should probably go to one of those games.
Yeah, you have Michael Jordan playing
and I don't know why.
professional sport in your town.
Yesterday was the first day I realized it. We've been talking about this man nonstop for years.
It's the paywall.
He's amazing. I've been watching this, but yesterday it clicked.
It's the paywall. We are holding. It is. We're holding it against him retroactively. The England brought in a 6'7" dude so he wouldn't do that, and he, for fun, skinned his hair with the ball. Just thought it'd be funny to just give him a little bit of a haircut.
With his off foot.
Let me do something funny here.
2 pinpoint assists with my off foot.
He's got to believe at the end of these games that he knows he's going to win it, right? Like, he knows it the way Michael Jordan did against Utah in the famous photo where all of the Utah fans are terrified, and there's that one Bulls kid with an arm raised because, of course, Michael's going to hit the jumper there.
I just love, maybe it's because it's so hard to score in soccer, but like when Jordan would do that kind of stuff, Jordan looked like, yeah, I did that because that's what I do. When Messi or Argentina score in these games, like, Messi is still ecstatic.
I think there have been times in this tournament where there has been sincere doubt, and I think that we saw the outpouring of emotion against Egypt, because Egypt was still having interest in playing. They were threatening. I think yesterday...
Got it yesterday.
I think yesterday he knew. Yeah. I think he knew.
His reaction post-game, he was, on his knees.
I mean, it's been an incredible, from just a perseverance standpoint, it's been an incredible tournament. If you're an Argentina fan, how do you have hairs still on your head? But I think he knew. I know it was another comeback, and it was astonishing late. That was the best Argentina's played this entire tournament.
Well, and we also know the moment that he knew yesterday. We all know.
Bad ball,
moment.
Jude Bellingham. You're young. You can't do that.
And we'll have an eye on every goal, shouting magisterial, no need to back down. Just park the bus, stop the attack. With the hand of God, put your header back on track. Football is back, Jack. Mbappe's flying through the air. Ronaldo's here for one last prayer. Will Messi come out to play? Or is it victory for the USA? It's corner kicks when the box is packed. That's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. The time is here, open the gates. The long wait is over, so we'll yell, let's go States. No need to back down. Just strike the ball, start the attack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
Sports are the greatest, and I'm going to tell you yesterday how it is that I watched this game, because you guys are going to think that this is funny. As I tried and have been trying to explain to my wife, hey, this is the greatest. You have to come watch this. I needed her attention. I told you guys, for 45 seconds during penalty kicks for Colombia, because we know a ton of Colombians. I needed 45 seconds of her attention, and knees high up in the air, she backed into the bush like Homer Simpson out of the room. She did not want to be around. I'm like, no. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to convince her. So yesterday, this is what I got going on. Because I felt like I was going to convince her, because I've got below us for now 6 weeks, people are singing and drunk, and the people who live below us and run that bar are happier than I've ever seen them, because money is falling out of the sky, and it's crazy. They are having record days. They would have had a record that was bigger than the previous record if not for what Conor McGregor did on that night to ruin everybody's joy.
Don't point at me.
It's really amazing what the World Cup does to these local businesses. It's like at the Super Bowl. You were hosting the Super Bowl every day for 3 weeks.
It's been crazy in my neighborhood, where I've never seen it feel like what it feels like right now. But I'm going to tell you how I watched this game yesterday, because it's uproarious. So I've got the sound down, not for the normal reasons. I've got the sound down because I want to hear what's happening outside, because directly below me for 6 weeks, I've had the English polluting themselves and singing songs, and that's their bar. Downstairs, they make it go from the street to the beach because they're just all there. But down the street on a giant screen is where the Argentinians are, okay? And so they are not in the same bar. Like, they are a block away, but they are not. You cannot put these people together in the frenzy of what the end of that game was. So England scores a beautiful goal. Harry Kane is great and does what he does from midfield, sends Argentina, which dominated the game, hit the post a couple of times, going backward. And England's goal was beautiful to take a 1-0 lead. And they spent the rest of the game as a country from a century back on, we're not as good at this sport as the other guys, on their heels, because here comes a desperate champion, and they're led by the legend of legends. Like, they're led by somebody who is Tom Brady and Michael Jordan, but with his feet. He's not faster than anybody out there. He sure as shit isn't bigger than anybody out there. And England's bringing in a 6'7" guy, and he's like, what are you going to do with these feet? How about I just spin it around your hair? How about your game plan should have been to have longer hair, because I'm going to win the game from over here. And also, and this is just the greatest, desperate champion is the greatest. At the end of the game, you're terrified that he's going to do something, and so you send everybody you've got at him, and he's like, you're going to just leave the middle of the field open. I know Dan Le Batard's analysis has been that team is no good. It's just all messy.
Stop saying that.
I know.
Slowest team.
They're starting to play a little bit better. They are coming online.
Look,
they win every game.
Look, this is absurd. What I am about to say is absurd, and I already said today that we don't talk about Messi enough. Like, he's underrated. The fact that on the world stage at 39, this legend of legends is sitting here telling you, go ahead and get to the 80th minute with the lead. Watch if I get you 2 or 3 goals at the end, because you're going to be tired and I'm not. You're going to be scared and I'm not. 4 straight games is absurd. Like, you can't, there cannot have been, not Pele, not anybody, a run like this, and certainly not at 39, where 80th minute on, I'm going to give you 10 goals in 4 games.
He's better than he was 4 years ago, and it's not by a little.
Well, that's why, to me, is it unlikely that he plays in the next World Cup? I guess, but can we stop saying that this is his last World Cup? Like, we need to stop saying that. With definitive tone, we need to stop saying that.
The precision of that last shot that skated past 5 English guys who are all better athletes than he is.
With 3 defenders converging with his off foot, he was living on the right side. His left foot is famous.
That is a chess piece. Goals are hard to come by. That team can't score them in the first 80 minutes. They never lead until you're done. And it's nuts. They are the slowest team in the tournament. That's been measured. I'm not making that up. That's not my eyes. Like
They're methodical.
In the tournament, among all the teams, they ranked last in speed. They controlled that entire game. They could have won. They could have won quicker and better than that.
Again, it flashed. They were not tired. They looked calm as Hindu cows out there. They were reserving their energy. They were not making the mistake. Thomas Tuchel makes a decision to put 5 along the back line, a decision that I don't think – look, it's been controversial. Thomas Tuchel is getting destroyed.
Was he bad?
A lot of that is because Thomas Tuchel is German and he's not an Englishman. There's a couple of different dynamics here. But he was lauded because he wasn't going to do the Southgate stuff. He deployed the same exact strategy that he deployed in Azteca. Let me get 5 defenders along that back line. He was really good postgame in explaining his logic. You got 2 wingers and 2 up top. I got to outnumber them 5-4. But the thing is, when you put 11 behind the ball, you can't back them up all the way into your box. They gave Messi all the space in the world that he needed right up until that box. He's going to find the spaces, and when you get tired, and England looked dog-tired. You mentioned Harry Kane. I didn't see him as a part of that build-up. Harry Kane was invisible. Yeah.
He started it with the launch 50 yards down the field.
I don't think Harry Kane is ever going to recover from what I saw in Miami Stadium. I saw a dude that literally left it all on the pitch. He should have been off way earlier. Rashford should have been on. The mistake that Tuchel made, that was the biggest, was I think individually and collectively, he trusted players to not be as dog-tired as they were. Anderson makes a horrible decision to come out and meet Messi. That's the 3rd defender there. You leave Enzo Fernandez wide open at the top of the box. Enzo hits from range. Bellingham too tired to fight across 3 attacking players and close the gap. Enzo, who already fired a warning shot earlier, hey, I'm frisky. I already forced Pickford out of his comfort zone. They did nothing. They didn't respond to that at all. When you have a team pressing the way that Argentina was, you have to put on players that can do something with that have creativity, that can have take-on ability. For Saka and Rashford to not see the pitch until it was too late was probably the biggest error here.
Here's what I'm not going to do, Zaz, because I know everyone is going to kill the English. And all my phone, look, I got Thierry Henry's name wrong. I called him Jude Bellington. I am gathering around the television, a bandwagoner like the rest of you. But my phone filled up yesterday with the amateur analysis of England choked, England, their coach is terrible. How do you not try anything? And when Mike keeps saying England's dog tired, yeah, they're backpedaling from a defending champion who's got the best player in the world all game. They're scared, and they're dog tired because he's pelting them surgically, and it was taken from them. It's not Argentina's in better shape. They're tired because they keep taking a punch from a heavyweight for it. They had 2 passes they completed in the last 18 minutes. Argentina pecked them to death. They started hitting the post. The goalkeeper was tired. Yeah. The goalkeeper, like they're making.
No one loves a water break quite like Jordan Pickford. Yeah, but I do think that they were the more tired team. Look, Argentina's played a lot of football in this tournament. England has too, but we cannot ignore the conditions that England had to encounter. The wild swing of environment from Azteca and that altitude. Mind you, the game that they had before, it was indoors in Atlanta, but they had to press that entire game against DR Congo and fight back to go from that to Azteca to the insane heat in Miami Stadium, which was basically played inside of a swamp, and then to have to go up against Messi. You're asking a lot. I think they mentally were drained. They did not have the legs to close out. They made bad decisions because their bodies were tired, and Messi just picked them apart, and that was the best Argentinian performance of the tournament.
I'm going to keep doing this to you, though, when you say they're tired, because you did say, and you were telling me, and this is not allowed to happen, okay? You were telling everybody, man, English mental fortitude is the reason, and I just saw what they did in Mexico. Nobody does that in Mexico. They're tired because they completed 2 passes in the last 18 minutes because a surgical champion legend is sitting there cutting them open. It was an autopsy for 18 minutes on the English soul. It wasn't about the mind, and it wasn't about the body. Like, I don't want to keep making this about England when I'm seeing greatness at the height of greatness, and the goal we're talking about that wins it. It's, Mike, it can't be that the other teams got the medal when this is the team 4 straight times in the 80th minute that just keeps dissecting you, and we wonder what happened. Did they choke?
Right.
No, it's everyone's afraid at the end.
Right. Well, look, a couple of things. Argentina's mental fortitude has never been questioned. It's been questioned for England, and yeah, I took a lot of stock in the performances that they had in the ramp-up, and I got to be honest, for 55 minutes, they responded. The dark arts were deployed, Dan. They were testing that American official. Argentina was playing South American football. That was a knife fight. And what did England do? They responded in kind, and they got a brilliant goal from Anthony Gordon, and after that goal, Dan, they had 12% of the possession, which is going to be a different story when we look ahead to Spain, because Spain passed the ball around with intention. The fact that Argentina did not have to chase that game because there was only 12% possession from England allowed Argentina to keep their wits, to keep their legs, and do their thing. And I think that they were pretty shocked at all the space that they had to operate in that final third.
Can I give you some incredible numbers for Argentina during this knockout round? Argentina has not led a knockout round game after 90 minutes this tournament. They're in the World Cup final. I'm going to repeat it again because maybe saying, whoa, Zaslow, I can't even believe the things you just said. They have not led after 90 minutes in a single knockout game. They are in the World Cup final.
And what a storyline that we have next, because Lamine Yamal in Spain, they've already taken out Ronaldo. And Lamine Yamal has often been christened as he's up next, he's the future.
That photo's not real, right?
It is real.
Come on.
It is real. It was really funny to discover American fans finding out that photo exists.
Well,
It's
tell
like a
people, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait, you can't exclude the audio.
How can it be real?
You can't exclude the audio audience on the details of the photo behind Mike Ryan, because in the age of AI, nobody would believe the odds of, what do you mean there's a photo of Lionel
Messi.
What do you mean that there's a photo of Messi bathing a baby who's now going to play him at 19 years old?
It's a bubble bath.
I mean,
Yeah, Lamine Yamal's mother won a UNICEF raffle for the opportunity to take part in a photo shoot with Lionel Messi. I could not believe that this photo existed either when Lamine Yamal really burst on the scene 2 years ago when he was Spain's best player in a European Championship run. Now everyone is doing the same thing, rightfully so. It's bonkers that this photo exists. It's bonkers that they're meeting up in a World Cup final. And it's absolutely bonkers that this 19-year-old has the opportunity to take out Ronaldo and Messi.
I've got a couple of questions. One, starting way back in the day, 16, 18 years ago, whenever that picture was taken. Who said...
It was 19 years ago.
19 years
if
ago.
If it is real.
If it is
real.
It
Who
is
was,
indeed
who was
real.
the team around was like, you know what we're going to do instead of a normal picture? We're going to have him in a bubble bath. Let's do that.
That
was my first
It's
question.
a weird photo shoot, but it was also 20 years ago. Brother, it was the 90s.
Are you about to show me a photo of LeBron
20 years ago was the
bathing Cooper Flag?
2000s.
Buddy, I made a joke.
Second question. Dan, your math friends. I need to find out the probability of a kid being bathed by Messi ending up playing him in a World Cup 20 years later. I need to find the probability of that.
You would think that that's unlikely, except I don't know if I asked Messi that back in those times that perhaps he was just doing this throughout nearby favelas, like that he was just perpetually washing babies as part of an advertising campaign. This is why the Kawhi Leonard thing's so offensive. Like, the fake job, you got to go do it. Like, I don't doubt that this man has washed 1 million babies. Do you think, if you had to guess, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. No one likes a hydration break like Jordan Pickford at Le Batard Show. Yes or no? And also, has Lionel Messi washed more than 1 million babies? I'm guessing that he spent a ton of time, given how religious the area is, given how biblical servitude is. I am guessing that he has done a lot of this in the face of humility. Like, I cannot believe, okay? I can't believe that on what is supposed to be the slowest day in sports, we get the very best sports thing that there is, which is doubted, defiant, obvious, desperate champion doing for the 4th straight time. Is Nick Wright a grandfather at 39?
He is.
This man is old. The world fears him. He should not be able to do this in any way. They're the slowest team, and among the people, if I was doing a lineup and you were watching the sport for the first time, and I'm like, go ahead, pick all the guys out there. Here are all of them on both teams, benches included. He's the last pick physically. Last. I don't want the old guy. Why do I want the old small guy?
Do you think they'll recreate the Messi Lamine Yamal photo before Sunday?
It's been memed plenty. Have you ever seen the Infantino washing the baby Messi? Anytime they get a call, that's shown out there. Yeah, the odds are astronomical. It makes you think that he has bathed 1 million babies because the chances of getting that photo are crazy. But Dan, it's kind of biblical. And for a storyline, I know everybody wanted to see the rematch of France versus Argentina because the last World Cup final, arguably the single greatest sporting event ever. That match was crazy. But the guy who's got next, coming for your stuff, as you like to say, Dan, it's pretty amazing.
When you say kind of biblical. So I'm watching this game, and I can't believe what I'm watching, okay? And the silence of England beneath us after 6 blessed weeks of just song after song. Hey Jude for 6 weeks. Like,
around when did they start to quiet down? Because around like minute 70, it was pretty clear what was about to happen.
This is the thing that I'm trying to explain to you as I'm trying to explain to my wife what it is that's happening here.
Wait, did you know what was going to happen? It felt inevitable.
Well, what I could hear downstairs, this has never happened to me, obviously, as I'm standing in the center of what I believe to be the greatest thing there is in sports, where a desperate champion on the biggest of stages, I could hear the fear downstairs, but it wasn't a block away. Like there was a murmur a block away. Like the reason I turned the sound down is because I knew that whatever the drama was at the end of this, England was going to be really happy and make my next week really difficult, or they were going to leave our country quietly because they've been beaten by somebody who everyone's known for 20 years is the one who's most capable of beating them.
Oh, they're going to stick around for that third place game that they love being in. Every player said that. Every English soccer fan cannot wait for this weekend's game against France. They're super charged up about it.
But when you say kind of biblical,
yeah, the Lamine Yamal aspect too. I mean, he's literally like it's like John the Baptist. What is going on here?
I'm in the middle of this, and when you talk about gods, okay, the thing I'm telling you that I was appreciating, like that's the very top and the best of sports yesterday. Like it's the very top of it because I'm trying to convince my wife on what this is. Like the history of the countries. Like England's been trying this for 100 years. Argentina is so damn racist and their people are so damn arrogant about everything, including their racism. But they know they're the best at soccer and this is what they export and it's their proudest thing. When you say biblical, so the scan on my television and on the screen that's a block away is all just fans. And so you see the crestfallen English people dressed the way they are, and you see the Argentinians. And my wife, who does not have fluency in this, she does not care. She thinks it's stupid. She's like, why? And I'm explaining to her, there's nowhere else in life that people behave this way about anything. And what she said was religion. And I'm like, yeah. And Messi's the god. Like of the world's sport, where you guys or anyone who's new to this wonders, why don't the African countries win? What is Argentina doing? I'm watching the game. It's hard to score goals. What is Argentina doing that they could be the slowest and the best? How How does that happen when I can measure that? And it's because when Mike says it's a knife fight, there's only one dude out there who's got a scalpel. Like everyone else out there has got butcher knives and the clumsy tools. England and their scared coach with their scared history put a 6'7" guy out there to make sure that Messi couldn't get it over his head. Soccer players are not 6'7". He was put in the game for the reason to stop that because they were terrified of him. And I could hear it downstairs. It's not that I could feel the fear of the English people a country away.
He is a deity. And Jeremy, you could probably watch him take on the Colorado Rapids for $12.
It's the greatest, Zaz. It really is.
I felt probably most people don't feel this way. I felt really terrible for England because it felt like the worst possible losing experience you could have as a fan.
Is it? Is it when it's inevitable? When it's the thing that you feared the most is the thing that happens?
They were still ahead. Like, yeah, I know they were being peppered, but they were still ahead in the 80-plus minutes. And they panned to those fans. They panned to one father-son in the crowd in their England gear after Argentina took the 2-1 lead. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what's that dad supposed to say to his kid? What is he supposed to say?
That's the business.
There's nothing he can say. And it made me feel bad.
In it?
Yeah. Well, if you want to get those $12 tickets to watch the Demigod take on Colorado Rapids, you could also see Rodrigo de Paul, another Inter Miami player who absolutely impacted that game.
That handsome devil is on Inter Miami too?
Yeah.
No, you're
$12
kidding.
secondary
You're
market.
kidding.
Let's go. Let's
right.
watch him take on Columbus Crew.
When does it start?
It actually starts this weekend. Inter Miami is not playing this weekend. MLS
That's not true.
MLS kind of anticipated
That
in Miami
can't be
going on a
true.
run, but on Friday this is a good thing from MLS and its broadcast partners. El Tráfico is probably the best rivalry that MLS has. They hit the ground running this weekend, I believe on Friday. They've changed the network that match is going to be on from FS1 to Fox to try to grow the sport, and I think more is going to be done to get some matches away from Apple TV and back on network television.
I saw a commercial. MLS says they could take it from here.
I want to talk about a commercial I saw yesterday that like legitimately got me angry from baseball. But before I do that, give me the stat of the day music, please.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day.
Don't let me not talk, Zaz, about what you said. Is that the worst way to lose? Because to me, there's the most honor and nobility in losing that way.
It's a double negative, by the way. Don't let me not. Whatever.
Fair enough.
You're a writer.
Per Get Up, the only team in this World Cup to have less than 12% possession from the 55th minute on than England yesterday, Qatar lost 6-0 with 9 players. Like what happened to England yesterday, I believe was done to them. But you've heard me complain about this for a while, Zaz. You've heard me say that too much sports coverage is something amazing happens, and I have to assign credit and I have to assign blame, and we skew blame. And I understand why people are mad at England, but if what I'm presenting to you is just the hypothetical, hey, there's this player and he's better than everybody, and he's been better than everybody for 20 years, and the last 3 games they're down late, but their whole thing is, yeah, body blow, but wait to what we unleash on you from 80 to 90 minutes. Like, okay, we'll wait for you, but it's body blow. And then you're going to be railing. He does this for 3 straight games. And then he does it to you. And he does it in the most precise way possible. And he does it when you're sending 3 defenders at him. And they're slow. Empirically, slow. They're tougher than everybody at the end because they have this guy? That's what we're going to see. That needs to be appreciated. I know the tabloids are going to kill the coach, kill the strategy. What are you scared of? Well, what I'm scared of is what I should be scared of. They're opening the Ark of the Covenant. Like, what do you mean, what should I be scared of? Everybody knows, everybody watching this around the world is united in the one language of we know what to be scared of here. It's that guy.
I think it's both. I think Argentina were brilliant on the day. The tactics deployed early on to try to get under the skin. I don't know if it worked on England. England responded well to it, but it worked on the official. Argentina is really good at working the refs. That's a cultural thing. But the substitutions that they deployed were super impactful, whereas for Thomas Tuchel, that's the easiest thing for Joe soccer fan to understand.
Right.
Who you're bringing on to the match that impacts a game. He got everything wrong. He made choices that didn't end up working out. I'm telling you, the Saka or no Rashford thing, when they're pressing like that, you have to put on a player that is capable of taking players on so you can keep possession. It's an egregious stat. Qatar had 9 guys on that pitch, as you mentioned. To be in that neighborhood, they just had no interest. They were kicking long balls, holding on for dear life, and that's when Messi knows he has you. And Jude Bellingham, you literally tugged on Superman's cape. You don't do that.
Argentina in the knockout stage has 2 goals before the 79th minute. Argentina in the knockout stage has 9 goals after the 79th minute.
All right, put on the screen, please, the tugging on Superman's cape, because Messi did look, he doesn't speak much. His interviews have been terrible for 20 years. He's bad in whatever language he's talking in. But he gave Bellington, as I like to call him, a look that said to everybody, oh, all right, really? You think we're going into the 80th minute and you're forgetting who I am? Here's the thing about the criticism of England, Mike, that I think that you and the world have wrong, okay? What Messi has earned is that he cannot be stopped. And so, because you know who you're playing against, that is the reputation that the world champion and the legend brings into every game. And so everyone in his presence is going to be in the shadow of doubt. They're going to be backpedaling. There is no strategy. They've been trying for 20 years. There's not one. And so, as the weight of 100 years is on the coach, and he's got to make some strategy decision, but it's going to be the wrong one because here he comes in the 80th minute again. And the pitch is only so long, and I can only kick it down there so many times, he's going to keep pelting my goalie, and we all know who we're playing against. And yes, Jude Bellingham, you've returned to the form of the pitch from 2 years ago, but this is a god. You're a player for today. This is a player for forever.
Yeah, Jude did some young person stuff in the lead up to that match that I think he's got to grow from, but he can be stopped. Jeremy, Nashville SC stopped him before.
I'm seeing August 29th, CF Montreal. Do we think Messi plays?
When?
August 29th? CF Montreal?
Maybe
Saturday night?
He'll get a little lather.
All right, I'm getting tickets.
I think he will. Dan, I think they get stopped in the next match.
And maybe Spain doesn't allow any goals, and I think they're an underwhelming team that has disproven me the last 4 games. I'm sitting here thinking they're playing down to their competition. They're playing as big favorites against countries nobody expects to beat them, and all of them are tight games. And the thing I want to talk with you guys about, though, is as it relates to mental metal. Mike Ryan is impressed by England until he isn't. They go into Mexico. They had the tougher path to get here. They looked better in every way. They were the favorite slightly in the game against the defending champion with the legend. That doesn't happen very often, okay?
Yeah, don't skip over having to come back against Norway in a swamp.
In a swamp so hot that Norway's best player had to be taken out of the game as the oldest guy on the field. This guy, Messi, doesn't get the same kind of tired because on one of the goals, he's playing against such younger defenders, Zaz, and they're the ones tripping and falling and getting out of the way that your legs get tired because he did that to them. And so I ask you within the coverage of this, if not in this spot, in what spot will you say, you know what, I'm not going to go with blame here?
I'm right there with you. I think it's both things.
No, but when you do both things, I think it when you both sides.
I'm disrespecting Lionel Messi.
No,
I am not.
You're disrespecting the question I'm asking you, because I'm saying in this particular instance, what hypothetical can I offer you if not this one? When the legend beats you at the height of his powers, you put down your sword in the knife fight and say, I don't have a big enough weapon. This is the legend being the legend, and he's a player for all time. I'm not.
Yeah, but it was also Buffalo Bills behavior from England. It's one thing to put 11 players behind the ball. It's another thing to collapse all the way into the box and still find a way to give Messi a ton of space. It's a math problem. How is that even possible? There's been so much data that's been put out on social media because they track all these players. They wear this little knob in between their shoulders. And it's visible there how extremely tired England was. I do think that it got to a point where they were feeling it in their legs, and they saw a guy who famously conserves all his energy, and a team that just keeps their wits about them when they get dragged into these rock fights late in games. And I do think experience, the greatest player in the world in particular, operating on the right, which is not something he favors, with his right foot, those were individual moments of brilliance, and you have to hand it to the GOAT. But England were desperate. Those were prayers that they were clearing, and it allowed Argentina to get ahead of steam and just dominate them in their final third.
Zaz, should I sit near midfield or near the goal? What's the better seat for soccer?
I mean, you're speaking about England's strategy as if Tuchel wants them to play all 11
the
in
thing
the
that's
box.
bothering me about what he's doing, when I am saying that he is disrespecting Messi, he's saying the English got tired as if he's not the reason. Like, yeah, they were exhausted. Yeah, because of who they're playing
It's
against.
not the only reason.
Right, but the point I'm trying to make is I don't think that Tuchel is telling his guys to play scared. Like, it looked like they were playing scared.
Tuchel, in his post-match, tried to learn a little bit from the Jude Bellingham thing, where he was like, our effort didn't match that, and that's where he erred and both Bellingham erred. He was trying to learn from that. He's like, look, we have the results. He explained thoroughly why he deployed the tactics that he did, and he didn't want to throw his players under the bus. But when you play like that, the effort has to match it. And these guys, they were just trailing. The data, I'm sure the data that they have access to will tell the story. They just got punched out in the end to an all-time great team.
I'm going to go ahead and guess, though, that the data will also show that over the last 4 games, there have been different tactics used at the end, and Argentina has beaten all of them, and the coach has gone home saying, I should have used other tactics because all of the tactics have been the wrong tactics.
Amen. They have a celestial being. He's the greatest of all time. Yes, I am not taking anything away from him, but I do think not being able to keep possession and make Argentina was fresh as hell because they had the ball the entire time. They dictated what was happening. England was dog tired because they had 12% possession. You're chasing the ball. Quantifiably, if I tell you that, one team is vastly more tired than the other.
It's tough because I can sit in the 100s behind the goal, but it's double the price of what it would be for the 200s at midfield. So I just need to know which is the better angle.
How is Messi so much better in the World Cup in his 30s than in his 20s?
Well, this is the thing that I want to get to the goal calls, because Andres Cantor does this just about better than anybody, but I think I might want to replace him with Your Mother's a Slut. Because I think Andres Cantor, even though a legendary voice, I want to hear his call, emotional as it is, but it's not the call that I want to hear the most. But the question that Zaz is asking is a great one. I don't want to simply skip past this age of mastery we're in when I'm telling you that what I'm watching yesterday, okay, is a religious experience. History, countries, why I got into the business, like why I fell in love with sports and wanted to write about it a million years ago, because people care about this like they care about nothing else in the world. And when my wife and I are talking about, yeah, it's biblical, yeah, it's religious, it's virtually literal, because there's not this kind of fanaticism anywhere about anything emotional. And what I'm telling you is that what I saw yesterday is the very best of it. Desperate champion, the identity of countries in play in games that are played once every 4 years, and really, if you're England, once every 40, because you don't get this far. And we can do our sports debate talk around, blame the English, okay? But I don't want to skip past the age of mastery we're in when a legend of legends is still the most legendary at 39. And at 29, we were doing to him what we did to LeBron. You can't win the big one. Yeah, are you as good as Ronaldo? No. Like, we take all that back now. We take it all. But 10 years ago, we were questioning this person because we make it really hard in the modern age for legends to overcome our
4
cynicism.
years ago, we were questioning this person.
But 10 years ago, over the last 10 years of, is he playing against ghosts or is he playing against today?
No, 4 years ago, he was an underwhelming World Cup performer.
Somebody who choked, somebody who didn't have the medal for this.
Someone who didn't have the knockout stage record of goals and contributions. And that's why I say very easily, not a hot take, he is much better today than he was in his signature World Cup performance of 4 years ago.
It's a crazy thing to say, though, right? In a sport where the margins are this small and the goals are hard to come by, I would imagine, even though the same countries are there at the end, it is harder. Zlatan said, I played 2 World Cups, never scored a goal. It's pretty good. I'm Zlatan. I have a lot of confidence. This person could have been every bit the player he is, and in the 80th and 90th minute, they lose sometimes because the margins are this small in that sport. For him to do this at the end, you understand this is LeBron winning all the championships at the end with the game winner, right? Like this is LeBron at his present age winning all of the championships against everybody in the world because he always gets to do the things that are the game winner. It's nuts. This is Tom Brady and LeBron James and Michael Jordan of the feet. And it's in the last 5 years of his career. We wouldn't have given it to him the 15 years before that.
And he might get taken out by a 19-year-old.
Probably will be.
He gave a bath to 18 and a half years ago.
So it's either row 10 in the corner if we want the 6 of us to be able to go together. It could be row 13 in the second level at midfield, or it's row 4 right behind the goal. It's making me think that that's not really the spot
Is
we
that
want to be.
against San Jose Earthquakes?
No, this is CF Montreal as well.
Play the Andres Cantor call.
Inter libre, Macarite palo otra vez, iba Messi, primero, Spence, Maca, Messi, engancha y va, tiró con la derecha, Argentino!
I wish I knew what he said.
Second half of the Major League Baseball season is underway. For this week's episode of The Pitch Clock, we've got it every single Thursday at 3 p.m. on the Le Batard YouTube channel, as well as over on the Le Batard podcast feed. This week, we have Steven Nelson. He is an NBA TV host, which you might say, like, what? Why would you have an NBA TV host? That's because he's one of the play-by-play voices for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He is a great new guest here on the Pitch Clock. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. You guys are going to like him. I'm going to try to get him on the main show sometime, too. So Steven Nelson is here, and Chris and I continue to square off in our Pitch Clock trivia. I'm starting to get nervous. We're heading toward the trade deadline. We might want to bring some other people in. We'll see if maybe we come up with like a phone a friend scenario or something starting soon. Either way, this is getting hotly contested as we head into the second half. So, trivia as always, Steven Nelson of the Dodgers broadcast, and you can watch it all on the Pitch Clock on the Le Batard YouTube channel.
Coming up this Friday on Mystery Crate, which you can find on YouTube, anywhere you get your podcast. Please subscribe, please like, please follow. Please join.
Please.
Just do it all.
Please.
Join us on Mystery Crate. We got a lot today. Rose is playing Finish the Lyric. It's my new favorite game we do on Mystery Crate. We got a couple more of those. We are not ranking.
We're doing top 3 Nolan movies of all time.
Top 3 Christopher Nolan
So that is
films
ranking.
of all time. That is ranking.
You've only seen 2 of them.
And I am the biggest. You just ruined my joke. I'm the foremost expert on Christopher Nolan movies.
That's fantastic.
So make sure to check in.
I'm
for
the
my-
5 most.
Yeah, the 5 most.
We are also possibly living in a simulation.
That's always the
with
question.
the Lionel Messi and Lamine Yamal photo.
Yep.
A lot of good stuff on that.
We imagine what Dan would look like if he was the way Messi would christen young babies to be the next great soccer player. We want Dan to do that. That's basically what's happening in that photo.
Good episode of Mystery Crate. Check it out.
God, we need Luis.
Please.
Yeah, we could do that again. I'm sorry.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings Sports. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
So which was it, a rock fight or a knife fight? One of those is far worse than the others. Like Mike keeps going rock fight and a knife
I
fight.
like knife fight better.
Well, but knife fight's got to be a gunfight's terrible, but it's quick and it's less like a knife fight. It's too intimate. So was it a knife fight or was it a rock fight? And which is the knife that we're using that we're not scared of? Because he keeps saying England was going to need a bigger knife, and I didn't understand what he was doing there.
You know, they used to stone people in biblical times.
But that's from a long
That
distance.
wasn't a fight, though. That was
Yeah.
look. That was not a rivalry. That was not a historic rivalry. That's just executions. That's not the same thing at all. Mike, which is it? Like rock fight, knife fight? Make a choice on what that was. Because I'm arguing that Argentina did neither of those things. I say they dragged them in quicksand.
That was a knife fight. That was a knife fight. There was this one brilliant slow-mo, and there have been so many plays from that match that have already been broken down. But there was a foul called, I think it drew a card, where Messi had such composure. He dribbled through like 3 dudes, all of which were fouling him. And that drew the first yellow of the match. It was a rock fight then, no doubt.
And then
escalated?
escalated?
But then it became
Escalated.
because there was precision towards the end. No, Nick, what do you think?
Nick disagrees.
First half rock fight, second half knife fight.
All right, we're on the same
And
page.
I didn't hear the beginning of the show, but I assume you and I were around the same age. We went to the same pop culture reference of a lightly watched movie 36 years ago. England needed a bigger knife, and I would have done that in Australian accent, a la Crocodile Dundee, if I could do accents. But that's what it was. It turned into a knife fight. And listen, I heard you guys, you know, Dan. Because Dan has become, in his older age, just a slave to stats and numbers, even after paying full tribute to the fact that this Argentinian team can't be explained, except for they can be very easily explained. They're a very religious people with a very religious team, and they believe one of their teammates is actually God, so they can reach down and touch something bigger. I don't know why anyone would pick against them against Spain. Yeah, sure, can Spain win? Sure. But I'm just curious, what's the game situation Spain feels good about? Trailing, that's not good. Tied, well, Messi's going to do it. Leading late, they've got us right where they want us. Like, at some point, when you're playing the absolute undeniable GOAT at the peak of his powers, somehow at the peak of his powers, and all of his teammates would die for him, there's something to that,
Well,
I believe.
How about this stat? The only 2 players in the last 60 years to have the most shots and create the most chances in a FIFA World Cup. Maradona in 1986, 29 shots, 30 chances created. Messi, 34 shots, 25 chances created. We're in the age of mastery. I've been saying it, Nick, but this kind of people can't become numb to the fact that this guy's better in this decade than he was in the last one.
So here is the thing that is so unique, and it's great to be back, by the way, but because of the World Cup, the TV show's been early, so I haven't seen you guys in like 6 weeks, so it's wonderful to see you guys again. And so you guys maybe have covered this, and I don't want to do like a soccer history lesson, but it was, less than 10 years ago, the story of Leo Messi was one of the greatest players ever. Some people think he's the most talented player of all time. On the club level and on the individual level, no one's been more decorated. And even though he individually was brilliant, he had never won anything for his country. And now, he retired from World Cup play 12 years ago. It was like, I can't do it anymore. It's too heartbreaking. And now he is on the precipice of leading a team to be the first team in the history of the sport to win 4 consecutive major international tournaments. He already is the all-time leader in the World Cup in goals, in assists, in everything. He is going to become he's already, I think, the only 2-time Golden Ball winner in the World Cup history. He's about to become the only 3-time Golden Ball winner. He right now is the leader for Golden Boot. And this was the one thing he wasn't good at. And I said 12 years ago, all we have to do is go back 3.5 years ago. Argentina loses to Saudi Arabia in the first game of the Qatar World Cup. And everyone's like, all right, he's going to go out sad. And since then, they've won every game. He's been the best player in every game he's played. And it's just a transformation reputationally. And at the end of these games, he plays perfect. I don't think there's a comp for it, because it's not like Brady or Braun or Jordan had this big hole on their resume that they then filled in at the end. So it's truly remarkable.
Well, let's examine, though, what you're saying as the critic for our times. Go ahead and do the pyramid of the greatest of the great. Worldwide, your time. You are a LeBron stan, and I'm sitting here saying that what he's doing, what this human being is doing at 39 is an immortality that no one else other than Tom Brady has achieved at that age. You're supposed to be dead and done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
We're doing Who's the GOAT across all sports?
GOAT of all goats with Nick Wright. Come on, that's a good show.
Oh, I'm going to
Pyramid Nightclub. Yes.
Mike Ryan, I'll one-up it. I'll one-up it.
Wait a minute.
How about a Mount Rushmore?
I'm coming with all 3
How about
of
a Mount
my
Rushmore, Mike?
Nick, you're not listening to him. The dirty demon of debate is ejaculating as you speak.
With 3 penises!
With 3 penises, and you're sitting here so excited. You're such a selfish lover that you're not paying any attention to him.
And I was trying to up it. I said I think the only thing better than doing a sports-wide GOAT debate is a sports-wide Mount Rushmore, and I have it ready for you.
Yeah!
Mount
my lifetime, you said.
Of
my lifetime.
But Mount Rushmore makes the 4 equal. I want the one at the top of the mash.
Yeah, and spit on it a little bit with Dak contract talk.
He's jacked now.
Can I tell you something in all seriousness? And I don't know if I can be serious after that, Mike. What the World Cup's given us a lot. You know what it has really given us? Every day when we do the TV show, there are topics at the bottom of the rundown that don't make it in, that if not for the World Cup, I'm like, we would spend 20 minutes on this and maybe lead the show. Like Dak, number 6 in that ESPN quarterback rankings, has not made the show. It would feed us for 2 days. If not for the World Cup. So thank you, Infantino. I appreciate you, FIFA.
Mike Ryan was weeping because Kevin Wildes dared to tweet, Argentina played to win, England played not to lose. He's like, we've made it as a sport in this country.
Nick, let me give you a compliment. You, Colin, Dan, to a very large degree, Zaz, I am so proud of how you've avoided the tropes of yesteryear, how you guys are embracing this. And I know you're part of Fox, and maybe that's an edict from on high, but the way that you guys are seriously taking this and not treating it as it's some niche thing, because it's the biggest thing in the world. Finally, legacy voices are meeting the moment. I'm really grateful for it. I popped when I saw that Kevin Wildes tweet.
So I on that note, I thought, people got mad at me because back when the U.S. was still playing, I dared to have the opinion of Christian Pulisic. I know you got kicked in the calf in the first game. It's the World Cup. Maybe play through it. And then in the other game, I know you by your own account turned your ankle, but maybe play through it. And I think there is a level of soccer's arrival being stamped by the soccer stars, or in Pulisic's case, alleged stars, getting the sports take treatment. Like, nah, we're gonna take some runs at you, and we can really up the ante when you're like, Mbappe, I know you score a lot of goals, but since you've been the best player on a team, you've never won anything, and your team always wins as soon as you leave. But that's neither here nor there. You want to call Messi the greatest athlete of all time? I'm okay with it, Dan. Mount Rushmore of my lifetime would be Messi, Bolt, Brady, Braun. And I like Serena maybe would have a say in that. I don't know who she would bump off. But if you want to say he's the what happened?
I'm an ally. He shouted, "I'm an ally," because you wanted to make that Mount Rushmore. You wanted to make it diverse.
Don't forget about
Marta. Listen, I'm not gonna Marta, great Brazilian female player. I feel better about my historical standing in women's tennis than I do in women's soccer as far as being able to compare them. And I'm not trying to be an ally. I'm trying to be fair. It's half the world. I included Bolt.
Yeah, but
Bolt's
that's the one he's got to go. You got to put Serena in there.
Here's the argument.
You're safe if you get him out of there.
I think Bolt has. I think if we're arguing Messi is the greatest athlete ever, I think Bolt has the strongest case against him, because my case for Bolt has always been it's literally the oldest sport in the world. It's literally the one sport that even before there were sports, human beings had to do. And we know definitively he's the greatest in human history at it.
I can't believe you morons are excluding Shohei Ohtani. I mean, what's happening here?
Oh, God, yeah.
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? What are you talking about?
Shohei Ohtani does not have the body of work to be in this conversation. Shohei Ohtani, what are you talking about?
Work the balls.
Jeremy, you picked this fight. Don't back down.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the best two-way player of all time. He basically plays two sports at an elite level. He's a top five Cy Young Award guy. He'll win a Cy Young potentially this season. He's one of the greatest hitters we've ever seen. He's a 50-50 guy. He's a multiple-time World Series champion. And by the way, in a sport where it's not even about team accomplishments, it's about individual accomplishments and the individual statistics. So yeah, he's the greatest to ever do it. He's Babe Ruth times a billion in an era where it's more difficult to hit a baseball.
Just real quick, if we're going to be at all accurate or at all fair. I was not including Babe Ruth because I was talking about my lifetime. But since you did, I will. In no way, shape, or form has he even come close to approaching Babe Ruth.
I'm close.
You just gave him a Cy... Hold on. You gave him a Cy Young.
I said he's finishing.
Never won it.
I said he's a runner-up in
I'm
Cy Young.
finished.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, he has never been the best pitcher in baseball for a season, and one could argue that over his time he has batted back and forth, him and Judge, the best hitter in baseball. I'm not here to neg Shohei Ohtani, but you want to put him alongside Braun and Brady, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. It's just not. There's no back. The idea of it is great, and the fact that had he not blown out his elbow or whatever the hell he did to where he could. Why is everybody laughing?
Because Mike, as the demon, is clearly climaxing, and you're a selfish lover.
Put a finger in there, but if you tell anyone, I'll deny it.
In where? I figured you had 3 holes.
Dealer's choice, baby.
He's a Rookie of the Year. He's a 4-time MVP. He finished up runner-up the one other year. He's going to be the MVP. He's not Babe Ruth yet.
He's going to be.
Babe Ruth couldn't hit Anthony Bender's slider. Are you kidding me?
Don't just stare at it. Eat it.
I don't know who I'm supposed to be interacting with.
Just keep doing what.
I'm not comfortable.
I'm just here to watch.
That's Zaz's. Hey, that's Zaz's gig. What Nick Wright, all you have to do is be Nick Wright and give us the goat of goats. And when you do so, and Kevin Wildes is in the background saying, I thought England played not to lose, you get the Dirty Demon of Debate very stimulated. And the Dirty Demon of Debate has several penises, and you aroused at least a couple of them.
There is cum everywhere.
Yeah, because of how well you guys were arguing, and you guys were doing really great debate. You guys, and so Mike was just excited.
Where do you put Maradona?
How about Alexander Karelin, the Russian, the Russian wrestler?
Wrestler?
Yeah, the guy who never lost
wrestler?
for 10 years. Wrestling other people. The original sport.
No, that's pretty good. I mean, that's a good one because that goes in the same bucket as Bolt. Where as far as I give extra points to how old your sport is.
Brock Lesnar.
wrestling has existed. I assume guys at one point in time like had to wrestle bears and shit. So like wrestling is an important one. But didn't he lose his final match like in some shame to an American?
Yeah,
Wasn't
yes.
it like
Rulon Gardner.
not
he lost
great.
at the very end.
Yeah,
Well,
Rulon Gardner
lost the foot.
yeah,
held on a little too late.
yes,
Long.
agreed.
Held on a little too
Agreed.
Do you agree with me on this? Can I be serious for a moment, or is that ruining the segment?
This has all been serious.
All right. Do you guys believe when you read the stories of like mom lifts car off kid, like that there is something human beings can tap into that
Yes.
is greater than themselves in
Yes.
moments? I believe that. Okay. I truly believe whatever mysticism that is, Messi's teammates tap into.
Have you ever
I
believed that
believe
of
that.
another team that you've watched ever in your life? Because when you're saying this, you like some of the abstractions, but I've never heard you do it a religious abstraction where this team believes more and its people believe that they do have not the hand of God, the whole body.
Yeah, and I think their belief is so pervasive, it impacts the opponent. Like, think about what we've seen, right? Cape Verde, and shout out Cape Verde, tied Argentina through 90, tied Spain through 90. That a guy on Cape Verde scores a goal to tie the game. He knows logically the game's not over. It is such an out-of-body experience. He jumps into the stands, finds his girlfriend. Egypt thinks they're going to beat Argentina, has it ripped away from them. The coach starts throwing up I think that's the racial abuse sign he threw up, to the point to where his brothers and his brother and other coaches were like, chill out, calm down. Switzerland has finally gotten back in the game. One of their star guys gets so excited about it, he just flops and ends up flipping that game. And then yesterday, England, they bring in this German guy who, it's a fun little Wikipedia deep dive on Thomas Tuchel. Everywhere he goes, he wins. He's there for 15 to 21 months, and then he leaves with everyone hating him. But he wins. They bring in this guy so they don't get tight late. They have the lead, and I really feel like there's such fear that Argentina and that team belief creates for the opponent that they play a different way. And so it does become something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Maybe Spain will have the antidote, or maybe everybody's showing, understandably, that picture of Yamal with Messi as a baby. Like, I don't know, man. If I'm Lamine Yamal and there's like a little tiny bit of me that's like, all right, even if he's not religious, like, all right, maybe this guy, maybe I'm me because of this. You think he's going to be at his best in this game?
Because he touched me. Wait a minute. So you're alleging, just to be clear, because you were touched by God, you're now afraid that you're going to lose to God in this game because the only reason you are who you are is because he once touched you.
It's not afraid to lose. It's like, all right.
What an honor. What an honor to lose.
Am I me because of him? And if so, can I really be at my best here? Or is this his moment? I get the next one. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that. What, Mike?
I think Lamine Yamal wins. And he hasn't played his best game. I thought he was really excellent against France. They are not a one-man team. And what sets Spain apart, not just their defensive prowess, because they are unbelievable this tournament, they are as equipped and organized defensively as any team to face Argentina, but the fact that they pass with intention, they keep possession. England was quantifiably more tired because they just punted, almost literally, on possession, where that is not the Spanish way.
If I told you, though, right now, though, Mike, it's the 80th minute, Spain's up 1-0. What are you expecting to happen?
I expect a surge. And here's where my concern lies. And I love Cucurella. I think he's underrated. He's now going to Real Madrid. He was a Chelsea player. Variance. If you have that crazy hair, you're susceptible to mistakes. It's a wide variance, like David Luiz. But if Messi spends half as much time on the right side as he did against England, watch out for Cucurella making a mistake and leading to a card. Cucurella is feisty. He'll get up in you. He's a great defender, but he can be trapped.
So, and listen, I'm not Spain. We've talked a ton about Spain on the show. I'm sure you guys have. There's prior to the game against France, I feel like Rodri, who has an argument that he's been player of the tournament, hasn't even been discussed. If Spain wins, Rodri becomes the 11th player in the history of the sport with a Ballon d'Or, a World Cup, and a Champions League, and the other 10 guys are just all-time legends of legends. I understand Spain is better. I understand Spain, you could argue, has played much better throughout this tournament, has faced much less peril throughout this tournament. I get all of that. I just don't know how much any of it matters. I am, when Argentina has played 4 knockout round games and has led 0 of them at the 90th minute, but has won them all.
You've never believed this. You've never believed this about a team before. Destined by God is what is the
Fabian
argument.
Ruiz also wins them all. He doesn't lose when he's in that starting lineup. They're undefeated.
But Nick is making the argument here that look, it's not an absurd argument. It just seems like an absurd argument for me to hear from Nick, where he's saying the result of this game is that one team has God on its side, believes it, and the other team thinks it's so.
But the other one was touched.
I don't. So again, that's almost what I'm saying. I am. I don't really know what my actual religious beliefs are. So I don't know if I do or don't believe God is on Argentina's side. What I do know in my core is they believe he's on their side, and the other team thinks he fucking might be. And they're like, oh, yeah.
Stick to sports. Too much religion.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. If you have that crazy hair, you're susceptible to mistakes. I also want to put on the screen here, I want to see if Nick Wright has any problem with what Kevin Durant did. A bunch of sports commentators for the day. I was surprised Kevin Durant did this because of all of the people here who some people might find objectionable. I don't think a lot of people would pick Nick Wright on that list. Kendrick Perkins. So one has to go who, and it's Barkley, it's Perk, it's Shaq, it's Stephen A, it's Bayless, it's Nick Wright, it's Shannon Sharp, Colin Cowherd, Max Kellerman, Kendrick Perkins. And Durant says you're the one who needs to go from basketball. What's he doing there?
Well, he also wanted to pack up Colin Cowherd, to be fair. So I don't want to I'll give you guys the full story on this that I have not revealed yet. So I'm not very active on Instagram, and the young lady Gianna Sanchez, the young lady that Mike Ryan, by the way, helped get to the national championship game that I'm eternally grateful for. She's a Miami alum, big fan of your guys's. She kind of monitors my Instagram, and she texts me, and she's like, KD just tagged you in his story. And I just snap reply, is it nice? Or is it mean? And she replies, it's not nice. I'm like, damn. So I hope he doesn't get mad about this, but I think it's fair. I think it's inbounds. So I sent KD, after I saw it, the little thinking guy, this little emoji. And I wrote back, I thought we were cool now. Hate to see it. And to his credit, he writes, what made you think that? And I was like, oh, damn.
You got your ass.
That's great.
It's super fun. And then again, I hope he does, whatever. And so he writes, it's just an opinion on your skills, but I don't matter. I'm not your bosses. They love you. That's all that matters. And then, because I'm me, I reply with, to be fair, in my craft, much like you and yours, my skills are pretty unimpeachable. My opinions are, of course, a matter of debate. And then wait,
what are you doing?
What?
What are you doing? Like,
what
why,
do you mean?
What are you doing?
He said it's, what do you mean? He questioned my skills. That's not, again, it's like questioning Durant's jump shot. It's not.
Yeah, but
an
he's,
argument.
but
I'm
he's,
elite.
you've got to go
You
now.
don't have
But
to like
yeah,
me.
but here,
No, go
but the
ahead.
thing
I've got another
about
3 minutes.
the thing about what he's doing there, and I understand what Durant is doing. Durant looks at all critics and says, you guys have no idea what it is to actually be me. No matter what you think your level of expertise is, you don't know how hard it is to be me. You all underestimate how hard it is to be as skilled as I am. Nobody appreciates that I'm an all-time skilled person. And you're saying the same thing back to him. You're saying,
yeah,
you
exactly.
Don't,
Right. I don't think he knows what it's like to be me either. Like, if anything, we have a symbiosis where, neither one of us is the GOAT of what our profession, but deep down we think we should be and think we're a little underrated and disrespected. And so that's fine. But like some people, there's critics of, how I go about my business. That's fine. But he was very funny in that he then, to your point, Dan, he said, but you do show up every day. So there's an opportunity for you to move up on my all-time list. He's just doing to media what we do to him, which I deeply respect. And so I didn't expect that, that comment from him either, but whatever. Like I got no beef with KD. I think he, I think I have him 17th all time, and I think that probably bothers him. And I thought that him, destroying
That's
the
the
Rockets.
Reason? That's the reason? That can't be the reason. That you put him 17th all time? That's the reason?
I think my guess is, again, I think it is a trifold reason. One is, I think he thinks I have historically underrated him. Two, I think he thinks that I give favorable opinions to guys that I might have a personal relationship with. And I think three, and my guess is the reason he picked Colin and me, is I think we were two of the most kind of loud voices that were like, yeah, that whole talking shit on all your teammates mid-season and then the season going to hell thing, that's probably on you. And so I think those reasons are why, he was upset. But I got no problem with KD. I like him. I think he's an all-time great player, and I think he's an interesting guy. But, that is what it is.
What's Right with Nick Wright is the name of the podcast. He's also on FS1's First Things First. Thank you, Nick. It is good seeing you again. We've missed you.
Yes. I missed you guys as well. Great to see you guys. Go Argentina.
So the idea that God is on a team's side, I did not think I would live to see the day where I was listening to one of the best pundits that there are talking about soccer this seriously, breaking down all of the permutations and then announcing at the end some form of, one of the reasons these teams keep getting tired at the end is because they know they know or wonder whether they're playing against God. Never more so for England than when that ball went off the post and it's just on Messi's feet. Like it might have have been at the center of the field. A light came from both the sky and the floor to combine to be like, you've got to be kidding me. The other guy hits a post. That post sound felt like it punched two countries in the gut. Like, just because everyone knew what the absurdity of what the stakes are in that situation, that margin being that thin where, that was beautiful what they just did there. Oh, that's how close the margin is off the post. Now Messi, wait a minute. How'd Messi get the ball?
Right to him.
How'd Messi get the ball in the middle of the penalty box when everybody's been trying to keep him out of there for 6 weeks?
The player tracking data has to show a spike in heart rate when McAllister's shot hits off the post and then slump shoulders once it lands at the feet of God.
I think they would have rather that shot to go in than bounce off the post into Messi's foot.
What a take.
Otani has 22 homers and a 1.79 ERA.
You can't do this now.
A
You
down
lost.
year.
You lost.
Yeah,
This guy's crazy.
Too late.
done.
And I'm tired.
I don't think I lost.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Should Cape Verde just be given third place? Never mind France and England. Just go on home, pack it up, give Cape Verde third place because they played Spain 0-0.
I was listening to an English pod, and they were so sad to be reminded that they have one more match. Where is it? Miami, God.
Explain to me, okay, because of how wondrous I find everything here. Because this was majestic a couple of different ways. I know we've got short attention spans, and I know that we live in crazy times, okay? But a really fun World Cup has been a spectacular success in all the ways for soccer, for the United States, for the world, everything successful. And then we give in the best semifinals ever, and France gives us a turd, and that's not a lot of fun. But this last game, Messi is doing the majestic things as we head to the punctuation on all of this. The best scenario is what in the next one, because I'm asking Mike while he's talking to Nick Wright. I think the best story is Spain's up 1-0 in the 80th minute again, and he does it one more time to a team that has allowed 1 goal in the entire tournament, and he gets 2 in 10 minutes because that's the punctuation of the legendary story for all time.
Do you think if you said to Spain right now, you can be up 1-0 in the 80th minute, will you take that? Or do you want to just start at 0?
But with all the subsequent fatigue of, do you believe that God is on their side, and they've been punching you for 80 minutes because they're tenderizing you.
Which one?
Like they're all they're doing here is tenderizing you, so you're at your weakest when they're at their strongest, and God is going to come down from heaven, and the ball's going to hit the post, and it's going to be on his foot, and it's going to be light and a lightning bolt, and everyone's going to get scared.
There are no bad stories here. That's what's so great. If Argentina win, it solidifies. I think we put everything to bed. There's no more Ronaldo, although that's, for my money, well off in the
We're not
distance.
done with that yet?
No, it's just ghost now. If he does it again at 39, wins back-to-back, which is something that is very difficult to do on the men's side, I think everyone just admits, holy shit, this is the greatest of all time. And if he loses, you get the next star. You get someone that was literally touched by God as a 19-year-old, already a reigning European champion, already playing for Messi's former club, already the number 10 for that club. You have Lamine Yamal take that baton. It sets up the next generation of storytelling. But is Messi going to be Hulk Hogan on the way out or Ric Flair?
For those of you watching on YouTube, DraftKings Network, Peacock, and the goal we keep showing from a camera angle that is for all time on just a phone, because we're not allowed to have rights that FIFA is very protective of its rights. So I have really enjoyed that all show, and I continue to say, just play it all show. I want it in the corner of the screen. I don't want people to lose sight of the perfection of, in that spot, Argentina making a goal look easy. When these goals are so hard to come by, and I want you to watch all of the movements in slow motion of Messi as they fear him going inside, because they fear him more going inside to get centered, but he will also decide to pass on occasion in a way that gets past a couple of feet by inches, gets past a couple of heads by inches, and then becomes a very easy goal somehow.
Dan, you couldn't throw that ball to where he kicked it. You could not throw it.
Now try to throw it with your left.
Not with the spin, not with the curve, not with the momentum to catch your guy in mid-flight when it's skipping past other heads. I don't want to lose sight for a moment of the greatness that we witnessed yesterday. Now, Pablo Girolt, we said, he says your mother's a slut. It's part of his goal call. We played him before, what was this, 2 times ago, 3 times ago?
The Egypt game, I think.
That Messi did this down
That Egypt match was how many years ago?
That was, so you went to that game and you wanted Cape Verde at that game. You didn't want to be at that game.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago, that Egypt match.
Egypt was up 2-0 in the 82nd minute, 83rd minute.
That's the only time this entire time where I'm like, oh, they're dead.
2-0 and a goal had been reversed. They could have been up 3-0. Controversial goal was disallowed. But this is where we discovered Pablo Girolt, and he discovered that Argentinians say your mother's a slut more casually than Cubans do. Let's hear what it is that Pablo did on this goal.
Por eso otra cosa, viene Messi. Banea Messi. Va Messi, mete el centro.
All right, I'm sorry. Mike was talking to me during some of that,
say it there,
so
Dan.
I couldn't do the translations. I heard a carajo. Mike was talking to me saying this is exactly what he was at College Station when it was 3-3.
Yeah, when Bryce picked that ball off in the back of the end zone.
Woo! So I didn't get to hear, I heard a carajo, but I wasn't able to do some of the other translations. I will not get used to carajo. I will tell again the audience there are different dialects, But carajo it's an all-purpose curse, but it's somewhere between the F word and holy shit. Like it's a pretty strong curse.
It's strong, but again, casual.
Do they not have like regulations on their?
Well, but no, what Andres Cantor told us is that Argentinians don't use those, your mother's a slut, the same way the Cubans do. That he's saying, Andres Cantor is saying that your mother's a slut is casual slang. It doesn't even mean your mother's a slut. It's just a euphemism.
Yeah, to put it in English terms, you remember the horror on Zlatan and Thierry Henry's face when Alexei Lalas just said wanker? And they were like, oh, how do you say that? What
Really?
do you mean? Yeah, wanker doesn't mean anything here. Over there, it's a bigger insult.
Huh.
And so that's what happened on that particular goal call. Zaz, did you find yourself yesterday? Because, I don't every day want to just ignore that on the slowest sports day of the year, allegedly, after a really wonderful tournament, they give us the very best of things. Because, I don't know, it was a week ago that I was telling you guys, it is an honor if you're someone who loves sports to watch desperate champions be desperate. It's like the best of the viewing experiences when you're coming in baked into the game with knowing the history, knowing the stakes. Your knowledge is so large about what you're watching that you almost can't explain it to somebody who doesn't understand. I will ask the poll question again at Le Batard Show. If I lined up all of the players playing in the semifinals and you were watching and picking teams for the first time, is Messi your last pick? Physically, just based on what you're looking at, is Messi the very last guy you're selecting, given that I've told you before that he walks past the weight room with a cup of black coffee? He's not doing the things the other people are doing.
When you were watching that match, though, who looked desperate? Because to me, Argentina looked really calm. The team that was desperate was a team looking at the clock, waiting for that match to end. England looked desperate and uncomposed.
Second half of the Major League Baseball season is underway. For this week's episode of The Pitch Clock, we've got it every single Thursday at 3 p.m. on the Le Batard YouTube channel, as well as over on the Le Batard podcast feed. This week, we have Steven Nelson. He is an NBA TV host, which you might say, like, what? Why would you have an NBA TV host? That's because he's one of the play-by-play voices for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He is a great new guest here on the Pitch Clock. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. You guys are going to like him. I'm going to try to get him on the main show sometime, too. So Steven Nelson is here, and Chris and I continue to square off in our Pitch Clock trivia. I'm starting to get nervous. We're heading toward the trade deadline. We might want to bring some other people in. We'll see if maybe we come up with like a phone a friend scenario or something starting soon. Either way, this is getting hotly contested as we head into the second half. So, trivia as always, Steven Nelson of the Dodgers broadcast, and you can watch it all on the Pitch Clock on the Le Batard YouTube channel.
Coming up this Friday on Mystery Crate, which you can find on YouTube, anywhere you get your podcast. Please subscribe, please like, please follow. Please join.
Please.
Just do it all.
Please.
Join us on Mystery Crate. We got a lot today. Rose is playing Finish the Lyric. It's my new favorite game we do on Mystery Crate. We got a couple more of those. We are not ranking.
We're doing top 3 Nolan movies of all time.
Top 3 Christopher Nolan
So that is
films
ranking.
of all time. That is ranking.
You've only seen 2 of them.
And I am the biggest. You just ruined my joke. I'm the foremost expert on Christopher Nolan movies.
That's fantastic.
So make sure to check in.
I'm
for
the
my-
5 most.
Yeah, the 5 most.
Five
We are
most,
also possibly living in a simulation.
That's always the
with
question.
with the Lionel Messi and Lamine Yamal photo.
Yep.
A lot of good stuff on that.
We imagine what Dan would look like if he was the way Messi would christen young babies to be the next great soccer player. We want Dan to do that. That's basically what's happening in that photo.
Good episode of Mystery Crate. Check it out.
God, we need
I don't want to be overly self-serious, and I don't want to lament too much during a happy time what we're doing around here. But yesterday after the show, while everyone was having a lunch they seemed to be enjoying very vigorously.
It was good. I had pollo.
Well, you started to have pollo, and everyone seemed to be enjoying their lunch. But when we as a media company interrupted our lunch to do what we did yesterday, watching everyone an army of soldiers scurry to attention, having their lunch interrupted, I thought it was the lowest point of my journalistic career. When I saw on a camera that we were rushing in, a guy was wearing a mask of some sort, and then very soon into talking to him, he said, yeah, this whole thing started because I said to Tyler Hero, retire, ho. And when that happened, like I took inventory of my life and the decisions we've made over the last 20 years around here, I'm like, and there it is. They're the lowest point of my journalism career. You guys still smell like puerco asado. I smelled the onions all over the place. There were half-eaten.
Lechon was good, yeah.
There were half-eaten plates of food outside. There was grease on some of the faces. And then I'm interviewing someone whose face I could not see because he did not want to be seen after taking the private thing that Tyler Hero did and showed it for everyone to be seen, and then getting him punched by Bam Adebayo. And I'm rushing into place as the founder of a Pulitzer Prize-winning company. Am I right to view that as the lowest point of my journalistic career?
Nope. It was great journalism. We got someone no one else could get to be on camera, and it's going mega viral.
Yeah, but the goal to me isn't to go mega viral. It's to do good work.
Maybe you should run your company differently.
Well, it's to do good work.
Yeah,
did
but
both.
what does Pablo do, really?
Well, he wins Pulitzers.
Yeah,
both.
but did
From
he get
who?
anyone
From
as good
who?
as this? Because
Yeah, better than that.
I
yes.
don't know about
These
that.
did better numbers, if you want me to be real
Yeah,
honest.
and we got this guy. Did Pablo get this guy?
So wait a minute. So now I will delight, though it was the lowest moment of my journalistic career. What are you shaking your head about?
The whole thing made me feel gross. I felt gross after talking to him yesterday.
And if you want to feel gross, you can watch it exclusively on the Le Batard YouTube
Jeremy,
channel.
your standard is not the standard around here, so let's lower your standard here when it comes to you saying we're doing the right thing by being viral instead of good. So I go outside, lowest moment of my career. I also want to take a shower. I'm also like, ooh, okay, so this started with someone just trolling. This person got Tyler Hero in trouble, got Tyler Hero, betrayed Tyler Hero.
Yep.
Has been trying to bother Tyler Hero since this started, has been a nuisance, a fly around an elephant's tail since December, and I'm now going to give him his anonymity, I'm going to give him cover and present to the audience a quote-unquote get when this all started with retire ho for a 26-year-old player, an all-star. Zad, you understand why I feel dirty about this.
Yeah, I thought the whole thing was gross. I mean, I'm fine with us talking to him because I think people are clearly interested in it. It's why the clips have gone viral. But just, we're platforming a troll. That's just what he is. He's just a troll.
We challenged him on that.
We did. No, we did.
Proud of what we did.
Last
we
Smith,
did.
he was a waste man.
We did good work.
I don't know what
there.
that means, man. You keep saying that.
We did really good work. We held him accountable for being such a hating ass hater. Yeah. And I'm proud of the work that we did. That was entertaining. It was hard-hitting journalism. It was a timely story. We were all interested in how that whole thing came to be. We got insight. We illuminated an audience that was thirsty to know. Yeah.
Okay, but feeding the craven needs of an audience.
I don't even understand what that means.
That's a Marvel character, Kraven.
Yeah, Kraven.
The hunter.
Yeah.
You don't understand. I feel like you do understand what I mean.
I do, but I also think that you chose that word on purpose to make us feel dumb.
Craven?
Yeah.
The Craven?
Yeah.
Craven something?
Can we get a ladder so you can do this segment from on high?
So wait a minute. You think it's craving instead of the G? It's no G
apostrophe at the end. Yeah, Craven. They're craving it.
So the needs.
Craving it.
No, it's Craven. Is
Yeah.
The hunter?
That's how he spells it.
Yeah. Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I like that movie.
You know what? I'm honestly not.
I like it a
even-
lot,
I'm not.
actually.
It was weird that Chameleon would never get tall.
Right.
Like he could replicate what other people look like.
Yeah.
But then Craven's like, oh my God, it looks like me, but he's the size of Messi.
I mean, I
How does
don't.
that fool anybody?
I don't know all the rules when it comes to Chameleon and what his abilities were. I know that movie got panned. I like that movie. I've seen it several times.
You've seen Craven several
There's no
times.
I think it's rewatchable. Yeah, I like
One
that
of the
movie
biggest
a lot.
box office
I don't
flops.
care. I don't care.
You've seen it several times.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's a good movie, Dan.
I don't trust your movie opinion. You've been wanting to talk about He-Man for 2 weeks. and
Oh,
I'm-
I can't wait till it's streaming. It's streaming next week. I can't wait. It doesn't even matter if it's streaming for free yet. If I have to purchase it, I don't care. I have to watch He-Man again. I'm going to watch it on the couch in the Zaslow Mansion family room. I'm still looking for that new couch. My current couch, it's uncomfortable. I don't like it. But it's not going to prevent me from enjoying He-Man.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you question the movie judgments of someone talking too much about He-Man? You're also saying you're going to go see is it The Odyssey or
Yeah.
is it just Odyssey tonight?
You know about Odysseus? You know about Homer's The Odyssey?
You know, I'm glad you touched on that, Zaz. A lot of people do. And my favorite thing about the Odyssey is, hey, no spoilers.
You know about those sirens?
You're going to see it tonight in the
Can't
theater?
wait to see what those sirens
I
look
wanted
like.
there. I saw a
in
commercial.
my
I saw a
algorithm.
couple of commercials yesterday that I wanted to talk to you guys about. One of them, I was not aware that in November in theaters coming out is the movie I Play Rocky. And it's about the story behind Rocky and how Sylvester Stallone got the movie made. And I just had a big smile on my face when I'm watching the trailer because they've done such a good job of picking the actors that they really the Rocky franchise is not unlike Lionel Messi, where the first four were really good, but they somehow reinvented the franchise
Rocky
over the
5
last.
never happened.
Yeah, the fifth one's terrible. The sixth one's actually good.
Yeah, Rocky
And-
5 never happened.
And then
Creed
the three
rocks.
Creed.
Yeah.
But the Balboa, yeah, all the Creed ripoffs, but this as a sequel.
Don't say rip-off.
Rip off.
I'm sorry for it's not the right word to use because it's disrespectful.
What made you think that?
Sequels or whatever, remakes, spin-offs is the word I should have used instead of.
Much better.
Yes, thank you. Because the Creed series, this is Rocky adjacent, but it's not Rocky. It's I Play Rocky and it's in theaters. They're asking a demographic from the 70s and 80s that believes in the movie theaters to come over here. We're not going to do this one on streaming. We're going to put this one in the theaters for you.
I don't think people have any idea of how improbable the Rocky franchise is and how improbable Sylvester Stallone.
He himself has a statue in a great sports town because this is
Multiple statues.
this is the height of both movie making in sports because it's a sports movie, maybe the best ever made. You guys can argue about this all you like, but certainly there hasn't been a more enduring movie made about sports than this one, and the story behind it is also improbable because he wanted to play in it. It really was. He's 80 now. We're doing the docs on him and Schwarzenegger. Sylvester Stallone is 80, and he dragged action figures from the 50-year-old age to the 80-year-old age because he's still doing tough guy stuff on television. And that began with him insisting that he plays someone he wrote, not wanting to hand that off to someone else so that it could be their portrayal or their soul in the creativity. The idea that a meathead being a creative king, not just an action star, a creative king because he owns all that Rocky stuff, because he insisted on it. It's one of the great sports stories of all time and one of the great film stories of all time. But the other commercial that I saw yesterday, and I got really mad at this commercial, and I was surprised at my level of anger at the commercial because you cover sports for, I don't know, it's going on 40 years now. And so you've seen labor stoppages and when things are great, and baseball's just figured it out. They made all the changes they had to make, and the sport that I've always loved more than football, loved more than all of them, this sport has always been forward-thinking and ahead on the media game. For as much they could be a musty pastime, this sport has been really ahead of football, of hockey, of basketball on how they do media things.
For example?
The entire digital age is something that they got to, and the MLB network covers their sport better than the NFL network ever covered football.
Their technology on streaming is the technology on streaming for all of these other leagues. Like, they invented it.
Baseball learned of the future 10 years before everyone else in sports, and it saved Manfred, and it saved bad management. And Manfred, this is why I got angry, okay? Well, one of the things that got us in trouble at ESPN is Manfred doing one of the single worst commissioner interviews you'll ever hear. And I'm in it. This got lost in it. This was secondary, but he's sitting there advocating for tanking, like being okay with the idea of payrolls being nothing and the Astros, being terrible for several years just so they could get good.
Was it worse than Bob Costas, Vince McMahon?
Put on the poll at Le Batard Show. Which interview was a worse commissioner interview? Because I don't think of Vince McMahon as a commissioner. Is he a commissioner?
He was the head of it. But like there was that one time where he just like little roid rage slaps the the papers out of his hand. Man,
Yes.
that was great.
Inches up to the edge of his seat.
Yeah,
It's great.
I got scared.
Bob Costa showed me how good he is at television, just smirking and smiling in the face of Vince McMahon.
Wasn't afraid.
Who looked like he was going to hit him. But so Manfred, it was a bad interview for a lot of different reasons.
I'm not going to be deposed.
And I was actually journalistically prepared to ask him questions about specifically what they've done to baseball in South Florida, which is use it as a brothel. Like they just, and one of his answers was, well, I have a home in Florida. Okay, look. This guy protects rich, greedy people, many of whom are rich, greedy fools. And they have done something in the South Florida market that is offensive for a lot of different reasons, including help dismantle 2 champions while always using this city as a brothel. When the Latin community around this has shown you during the World Baseball Classic, it would support something that is properly run, that has some soul in it. But to see this commercial when we're clearly headed for a work stoppage, Zaz, you have not seen this. I was watching it for the first time. Manfred is defending the idea that this is a good idea for a commercial.
I'd like to see a little bit more parity, man, a little bit more competition.
Let's give these young guys like a salary floor.
100% needs a salary cap. That's the biggest issue in baseball right now.
You got a loaded team like the Dodgers going against teams that don't have any big names.
It needs to be more equitable.
It's imbalanced big time when it comes to big market, small market.
NBA, NHL, and football, it seems to be more competitive.
If it's fair, it's more competitive, fun for baseball.
I've never seen a commercial before for the salary cap.
That's pretty amazing.
It's like socialist propaganda. Like, what the hell
It's
is
pretty
this?
wild.
I've just never in my history covering sports seen a marketing team that is ahead of everybody on the future, warning you 18 months from now, let me sell that this is not going to be our fault. Our sport needs it. We need to put a cap on the players, not because the owners are greedy and the commissioner can't control them. They need the costs to be fixed because they can't control themselves. Let's do propaganda using fan voices and let's point to the Dodgers. Oh, the Dodgers are ruining it, aren't they?
If I may, though, like that is the main issue fans have. And it is a smart move. Yeah, it's a little dirty because now they want to listen to their fans. Okay, they're using them. But in small markets, that's the complaint. Overwhelmingly, that it's not fair that the Dodgers get all the players, that the Yankees get all the players. It's smart to have the fans literally give voice to what is a popular movement.
I think that's going to work. Like, it's weird. It's amazing to see it. I've never seen that before. I think it's going to work because the main issue is going to be salary cap. And the owners want a salary cap. It's the players who don't want a salary cap. Fans are going to wind up signing with the owners there. And I'll tell you, to Mike's point, my younger son, my 14-year-old son, he refuses to watch baseball with me because the answer he always gives is, it's unfair. You got one team that spends all the money, and our team down here, specifically the Marlins, they don't spend any money. To him, baseball's not fair. He refuses to watch.
Okay, so I'm looking at a list of the last 10 or so World Series winners. Dodgers have been obviously back-to-back. Diamondbacks, Rangers. We call those big market teams. Houston versus Philly.
The Rangers, yeah.
Atlanta versus Houston. Tampa versus the Dodgers. Washington versus Houston. Like, there really hasn't been this dominance of like these huge market teams. Like,
but the money helps you get to the playoffs.
Yeah,
the money doesn't necessarily help you win.
They're
the
always in
playoffs.
the
That's the point,
conversation.
right?
Yeah, but they're always in the conversation. I just think it's funny that the owners are beating the players to like, no, we speak for the little guy. You have the billionaires going against the millionaires, and they're using the little guy to boost the argument for the billionaires.
But when in all of these labor disputes in any of our sports here, when does the public sentiment ever side with the players?
This is why I got angry, though, okay? No, they're using the Dodgers as the owners can't control themselves. They don't know how to control themselves. All of us would like to have the owner who spends. That's not where we're putting our attention. Hey, players, fix this. Players, you're at fault for wanting, capitalism. They're filing it under the umbrella of let's have equitable playing field when baseball makes it an equitable playing field. The Dodgers are an aberration. They're better than everyone else this year. Their run differential is better than everyone else's this year. They can do ridiculous things because they've gamed the system, because they know all the Moneyball things, and their regional television contract is something that fixes the games and allows them to always have a faucet of more money. But the part that I'm bothered by is you saying, yeah, Dan, it's going to work. Yeah, of course it's going to work. Fans always want money taken away from the players. That's always the solution. When I'm always, no, man, free market. Let Steve Cohen buy all the players that he wants. Let him run up the price on Soto so it's $760 million. And instead of fixing it because your owner can be responsible, because a rich person couldn't be entitled, because a commissioner has control of his sport, nah. Players, you employees, you fix it for us. And yeah, of course it's going to work because the whole system is gamed to make sure that the player has to give back the money because we don't care that the owners make it.
Outside of the icky feeling that I have that the owners colluded to, like, hey, let's have the fans do our bidding here and take the money away from the millionaires. They just touched on it in that video. Salary cap doesn't do much for me. I don't really believe in a salary cap. I think in a free market. What jacks me up as a sports fan, especially of that sport, is the salary floor.
Yeah.
As a fan living in a market where they famously do not spend nearly enough money, I think that should have been the messaging. Like, hey, we're guaranteeing that our teams spend more on acquiring talent.
But that's not they're not going to do that without a salary cap. That's the whole thing. Of course, players would be fine with a salary floor.
I mean, Jeremy, they could. But I understand, but they won't.
And which is why that messaging is sort of irrelevant. And Tony and I were just talking about it. Like, if I asked any of you from a product perspective, how has baseball been the last 2 years as compared to the 15 years before? Doing great. It's as entertaining as it's ever been. Who won the last 2 years? The Dodgers, the behemoth. But they're trying to convince you that you're getting a bad product when that's not the case.
But this is what they've always done. Look, I've told you before that Scott Boras used to say as the super agent, baseball is the only business anywhere in the world where what they do is kick the can down the grocery store aisle, kick the can down the grocery store aisle, dent it, bruise it, kick it, then put it back up on the shelf and then ask you to purchase it. They're going to keep blaming the players for the owners not being able to control themselves. And the thing that makes me mad, Zaz, is that most fans are going to agree when none of the fans listening, not a one, would want a salary cap in their place of employment. You'd want to make as much as you're worth. You'd want to be making an amount of money that doesn't cap the ability to make money because you're asking the employers to do the job of the owners. The idea, okay, and I really feel for as much as we talk about all the numbers in sports, people don't understand and have not understood until recently. These owners have been making so much money. The reason they can afford Soto is because they've been underpaying these people for so long. But anyone listening to this will always say, but they're playing a game. They shouldn't make millions of dollars for it. They're not earning it the way that the rich guy earned it. Let's play the second part of this commercial, and it's about the idea, and they make a good argument. They are getting out ahead of this with propaganda, and I just can't believe how obvious this is and how it's going to work anyway.
If you're a baseball fan, you've probably been seeing headlines like these about fairness in baseball and keeping the sport competitive. Simply put, it all comes down to a rapidly growing payroll disparity between teams. In fact, over the past 3 seasons, the top 3 budget teams spent more than 21 other teams combined. The Yankees and Dodgers rank first and second in payroll and have the 2 best winning percentages in baseball.
It's a political ad. It should say at the end, this message brought to you by greedy people.
No league's ever done commercials about a work stoppage to try to curry favor and sway public opinion before. This is unprecedented.
There's
This
a
is
third
wild.
part of this. Let me play the third part of it where they're just comparing themselves to other sports, and they're saying because they couldn't control themselves. Look, for the history of this, I do want people to understand how far back this goes, okay? Baseball's union and Marvin Miller were the first and way out ahead on leading on behalf of rights for the employees. I don't need to explain to the audience how America and employers and rich people don't like unions. They don't like unions because unions advocate for employee fairness. All of you have seen enough about how terrible the greed is among the very wealthiest who are addicted to wealth, correct? You've all seen how America is getting more and more distorted by the addictions to greed that these rich people have. Marvin Miller is a pioneer Hall of Fame leader because he simply had the strength to say, no salary cap. What are you talking about? It's America. It's capitalism. What's salary cap? Get your shit in order. Like, you're rich people. Can't you control yourself? And the answer is no. As soon as this rich guy wants what the other rich guy has as a toy, then what they do is cheapen the toy. They don't sit there and control themselves. And so here's the third part of this propaganda.
MLB is the only league where large market teams significantly outperform small market teams, and no small market team has won it in over a decade. And setting rings aside, most teams can't keep the stars that fill the stands. MLB fans overwhelmingly believe baseball's no longer a fair game. In fact, 79% support implementing a salary cap, and the league is listening. It's time to catch up with every other major U.S. sports league and create a salary cap and floor in baseball.
And floor. It's so good. They'll give you the floor in exchange for the cap. And what they've done over the years, and they're catching baseball at such a good time because these unions have been poorly run, and you've got a whole bunch of greedy people just grabbing at the dollars that are in the corners, so you have a lot of corruption. And you've got a bunch of players who want, like, chefs in the clubhouse and want candy instead of some of the bigger things that some people end up worrying about. So here are the players, Zaz, during the All-Star game, or some of them saying, no, I don't want my salary capped.
I think it's bad for the game. The game's in a great spot right now. I just I don't support that.
I think if the billionaires are wanting it, they're billionaires for a reason, and they want to continue to enhance their portfolio as much as possible, and us players understand that. And so the answer to your question is no good. Bad. The biggest thing for me is every other league has a cap, and not one of those players like it. So why would we agree to something that no other player likes?
I think it's bad for everyone. I think it's even bad for the teams, bad for the players, bad for everyone. So, I'm not in favor.
Bad for baseball. We're in a good spot where we are, so we'll just see what happens with the lockout.
So the part I want to examine with you guys is, after everything you just heard, we're all going to end up with the assessment of, players greedy.
I mean, they don't come off great there either.
Yeah.
When your argument is, well, all the other sports have it, but the players hate it. If my football team doesn't have a chance, it's because I have a bad organization, but it's not like I feel like the league is unfair, right? Like in baseball, I feel like I've got no shot.
You can't just say it's bad for baseball, and that's your argument. Like, how is it actually bad for baseball? It would be good for baseball. It's bad for the players, that's for sure, okay? It's bad for everybody. No, it's not. It's only bad for the players.
So explain to me why, because you've heard me say, all of you have heard me say, that the biggest single gulf between the people playing sports and the customers who pay for sports is money. Guy, woman in the stands, doesn't love her job, doesn't make $1 million a year, looks out at the field and says, they get to play games for a living. Everybody would want to do that. Any amount of money, I would want to do that. Just help me do the smallest of things that can pay for my family. These players are greedy. There is no way for players to win this argument from any angle. The sport is going to stop just as they fix just about everything except the fact that the best hitters can't hit the best pitchers. Can't even make contact. Except for that little fact that
important one.
It's impossible to hit a 105-mile-an-hour fastball when you're a human being. Outside of that, they fix just about everything. If I ask all of you in a vacuum, hey, Do you guys side with owners or employees? Are most of you owners or employees? Explain to me the disconnect between almost everyone saying, no, I don't need a rich, really rich person to get even richer. But take it from the players. It's got to be taken from the players. It's not, hey, build your own league equitably without the help of a salary cap. It's not owners, hey, do your job correctly with your money. It's take the money from the players. That's the right way to do it.
I don't think people like me look at it the way you're framing the discussion, where it's, do you take the side of players or do you take the side of owners? To me, it's, do you take the side of players or do you take the side of the teams? And I am always going to be on the side of the team.
But that's how they game the entirety of it, and that's how every player loses the holdout dispute, because the player is the one keeping you from your feel good, even though I keep telling you, no, it's not. It's the owner keeping you from your feel good and telling you should blame the player, and you're already predisposed to it because you believe that whatever's not good for your team is always caused by the player and not the owner.
Well, in this case, it would be, right? Because what the team is trying to see, it's not that they want to pay that they want the players to make less money. In order for the game to be more competitively balanced, the result is going to be a cap, which will force the players to make less money.
There you go, you found it.
So in theory,
it is less money for the top end.
But in theory, I'm going to be on the side of the team/owner because I believe what they are doing is in the best argument for keeping everything competitive, which makes me happy as a fan.
The argument from the players is that there are plenty of teams that have been small market teams, whether you look at Cleveland, whether you look at Tampa, that win year after year after year as a smaller market team. And they actually think that the cap sort of does the opposite, because what it does in their minds, and this is a quote from Bruce Meyer, who's the MLBPA interim executive director. He said, the owners want a system that not only guarantees their profits, not only increases their franchise values, but essentially is a form of subsidized mediocrity. A salary cap is the ultimate excuse not to compete. And you could make that argument that there are plenty of teams in either the NFL. I mean, look at the Dolphins.
Cap sports at tank.
Yeah. And by the way, those teams tank. Their franchise hopes can change on a dime because of tanking. In baseball, a lot of the time it takes years before those kids that you've drafted ultimately get to your program. So everybody's going to be in a completely different position.
I'm always going to be on the side of the players, especially in that sport, considering the history of players versus owners, just them getting over the reserve clause. Kurt Flood had to sacrifice his career because he didn't want to go to Philadelphia after all the racist stuff that's been in that city. He wanted to choose where he wanted to go.
Well, this is the part, though, of the history that I think sort of gets neglected in however it is this is going to move today's young fans, okay? I understand everything Zaz is saying. You want your team to have not just a chance. Usually, you'd like your team to have an advantage because whoever's complaining about this probably isn't Dodger fans. Like, the people winning are fine with how baseball is. Everybody else wants to have a chance. I don't think Yankee fans care one way or the other, whether there's a salary cap or a salary floor. But if they do care, they're probably fine with the way it is because they have an advantage. The money is an absolute advantage, but baseball takes away some of the advantage because of what the randomness of the playoffs is and because the Marlins have a very good team. Because what I want my team to have to do, I want my architects to have to be smarter than the other team's architects. I don't care how I arrive at that, whether it's because they
legislate equality.
Well, no. I want.
Sure.
I don't want to You're saying it legislates equality, but it doesn't legislate equality because the Mets have all the money in the world and they're still terrible. I want the organization that runs my interests. I want them to have to be better at it than the other teams are.
Right. Well, baseball is in a unique position in that, look, they've had a blessed deal in being uncapped. In America, we're used to our sports being capped here. What would happen in the NFL if there was no salary cap? It would suck. It would suck. Dallas would sign all the players. You wouldn't have a dynasty like you had in Kansas City. It would be unfair. There would be no point in it. It'd become what has happened in college football, which is like, well, you got the most money, you got your shot. You can be Texas Tech and be in the conversation every year, provided that you have money and you're buying up the best
Yeah,
players.
but the thing about this, though, Mike, is that baseball has a way of rectifying this so much. I know we're doing it now because of what the Dodgers have been. The Dodgers have had the biggest advantage money-wise in the sport since Magic Johnson bought into their ownership and they signed that television contract 10 years ago.
And the sport is random.
But they haven't won 10 titles.
No, they're uniquely positioned because spending money, for the most part, guarantees you a lottery ticket into the playoffs.
Yes,
correct. I disagree.
I know
the Mets
are an outlier. The Mets are an outlier. We just pulled up 10 years worth of data. If you spend a lot of money,
it's an advantage.
It's a huge advantage in giving you an extra lotto ticket to get into the tournament, which, yes we're playing a bit of random ball there. It's where it's unlike all the other sports. Because if this happened in the other sports, the teams with the most money would win the championship because those sports aren't nearly as random.
Well, you say that, right? Because basketball and hockey aren't, but football playoffs can also be random. But let's examine for a second the idea that what we now want is every fan base to have a chance. You believe right now that in baseball, given the basketball season that we just watched, you believe that with the Marlins, with the lowest payroll in the sport, being 10 games over 500, that they have less of a chance of winning in baseball than they do in basketball? Like, you have a ton of tankers in the salary capped sport. What's preventing?
You have more tankers in the non-salary cap sport, though. Let's not pretend like baseball doesn't have a tanking issue.
No, I'm not saying they don't have a tanking issue, but when they tanked, the Houston Astros then got really good. Like, they were rewarded for the tanking in a way that made a 100-loss team all of a sudden be the champion, no matter what the payroll disparities were.
Wouldn't this Marlins team have a much better chance of winning if there was a salary cap in baseball? Because it would be leveled out at the top, and they're being really smart the way they built their team.
Yes, of course they would have advantages if they were spending more. But what I'm telling you is the necessity of not having money and having to do it the way that they have. The Marlins could absolutely enter a 7-game series against anybody right now with healthy pitching, and they can win a 7-game series against any team in the sport. It's with the lowest payroll in the entire sport. Baseball has a way of fixing this and making money matter less and salary caps less, that you shouldn't actually be swayed by this propaganda just because it's easier to argue on its behalf. Like, baseball playoffs make it so that the Dodgers have this advantage, and it has not bought them the title every year or even most years or even 20% of the years, given that they've had this television contract since when? When did the advantage start? Because they signed a 25-year deal that changed the entire paradigm of the sport. The Dodgers became the Yankees. The Yankees used to have all of the financial advantages. What year was that, Jeremy?
That was 2013.
And so give me all the champions since 2013 that aren't the Dodgers.
All right, since 2013, the Red Sox, the Giants, the Royals, the Cubs, the Astros, the Red Sox, the Nationals. They won in 2020. The Braves, the Astros, the Rangers, and they've won the last 2.
The Royals are the outlier.
The Royals were in 2 World Series, weren't they?
Yes.
Yep.
So the players have their alternative version of this, by the way, guys. Like right now, the competitive balance tax exists on the top end. So when you reach a certain threshold of spending, the ownership group needs to contribute a balance tax into the league. What they want to do is introduce a concept called the competitive integrity tax, which is on the low end. So they create a floor of $150 million salary, and for every dollar that you're underneath that, the ownership group needs to contribute a tax.
Great.
So what that essentially does is create a soft floor and a soft cap for these owners rather than taking it specifically from the player money and keeping them within there. They also proposed a much more equitable local TV revenue sharing deal that I think is a little bit different from what the owners have thus far, at least according to the ESPN article.
You guys do understand, right, that the reason that this is happening is because the other owners can't control little Stevie Cohen. Like, that's the problem, that what the Mets owner is spending so much money, and he makes Soto's contract. That we were complaining not that long about Giancarlo Stanton having a $200 million contract, and in a few years or in a decade, you got Juan Soto almost quadrupling that contract.
But if the owners decided not to give out these massive free agent contracts. Like, we're not doing it. We're going to exhibit self-control. We're not doing it. Wouldn't we all be screaming about collusion?
I don't know how sports fans can parse, well, baseball should have it one way and all the other American sports don't. That's where you miss a lot of people with it. We're so preconditioned to these sports are capped over here. That's just the American way. So the baseball players, they've benefited plenty from their system.
But it's the anti-American way. Like, if you look at the way the rest of the entire country has been built, it's the absolute anti-American way. Capitalism, like you're advocating on behalf of something that's not free market.
Either make them all uncapped or make them all capped.
Uncapitalismed.
Second half of the Major League Baseball season is underway. For this week's episode of The Pitch Clock, we've got it every single Thursday at 3 p.m. on the Le Batard YouTube channel, as well as over on the Le Batard podcast feed. This week, we have Steven Nelson. He is an NBA TV host, which you might say, like, what? Why would you have an NBA TV host? That's because he's one of the play-by-play voices for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He is a great new guest here on The Pitch Clock. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. You guys are going to like him. I'm going to try to get him on the main show sometime, too. So Steven Nelson is here, and Chris and I continue to square off in our Pitch Clock trivia. I'm starting to get nervous. We're heading toward the trade deadline. We might want to bring some other people in. We'll see if maybe we come up with like a phone a friend scenario or something starting soon. Either way, this is getting hotly contested as we head into the second half. So, trivia as always, Steven Nelson of the Dodgers broadcast, and you can watch it all on the Pitch Clock on the Le Batard YouTube channel.
Coming up this Friday on Mystery Crate, which you can find on YouTube, anywhere you get your podcast. Please subscribe, please like, please follow. Please join.
Please.
Just do it all.
Please.
Join us on Mystery Crate. We got a lot today. Rose is playing Finish the Lyric. It's my new favorite game we do on Mystery Crate. We got a couple more of those. We are not ranking.
We're doing top 3 Nolan movies of all time.
Top 3 Christopher Nolan
So that is
films
ranking.
of all time. That is ranking.
You've only seen 2 of them.
And I am the biggest. You just ruined my joke. I'm the foremost expert on Christopher Nolan movies.
That's fantastic.
So make sure to check in.
I'm
for
the
my,
5 most.
Yeah, the 5 most.
We are also possibly living in a simulation.
That's always the
with
question.
with the Lionel Messi and Lamine Yamal photo.
Yep.
A lot of good stuff on that.
We imagine what Dan would look like if he was the way Messi would christen young babies to be the next great soccer player. We want Dan to do that. That's basically what's happening in that photo.
Good episode of Mystery Crate. Check it out.
God, we
What is the Nick Bobic?
It's a 60s song. The name game. Nick Bobic. Banana Bofic. Me, my Momic. Nick.
Rosanna, Babana, Rosanna, Babana, Rosanna, Babana.
I'm the kind of guy that Nick. Who made it the salad? Hey, Butterfinger. Who made it the salad? Nick Bobic. Who made it the salad? Georgia.
That's not correct.
Very good.
It's a parrot that says very good out of the side of its mouth.
That's correct.
What does this have to do with the name game?
I'm not going to take a quiz.
Rosanna, Babana,
Who made it the salad? Me, my Momic. Let's go States. We're rolling now, huh?
That's not correct.
Doesn't make it right. But don't go showering to try to please me.
Do you like breathing hot neck on the neck of hot?
Wow.
Are you turned on? Do you like
dangling?
Breathing hot neck?
What's going on here?
Do you like
sexy
breathing hot neck?
You have been dry humped many times.
Intimate.
You have been dry humped many times.
Little pelvic thrust situation.
I like that.
Have you ever consoled a naked man before?
What does it feel like to get dry humped?
SLPP.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Breathing hot neck.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many times.
SLPP.
People out there, stop sending me pictures of the hotel rooms with the chair. hair, okay? Stop sending those to me.
I like that. I like that.
He was naked,
Intimate.
dangling.
I would hold that thing really tight.
How would you do it?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck? Do you like breathing hot neck?
I've been dry humps.
You never know.
I've been dry humps.
Many, many times.
I've never consoled a naked man.
You ever consoled a naked man?
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many, many times.
You never know. I like that.
You know what I'm talking about.
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
It's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out.
Hoo-wah!
Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
Hoo-wah!
I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
It's the No, it's the famous actor. And I got to pin his name down because I don't think
You should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro.
No.
Hoo-wah!
But I think it's
In the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second.
Hoo-wah!
Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Al Pacino.
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
What
that.
movie?
It's APAC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No, you're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
No.
That's a few
That's
good
the one I
men,
bought.
and that's a few good men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's you're not man enough to know the truth. I
You can't handle the truth.
Don't know.
It's a different
Damn it.
movie. Pacino was not in
You're
it.
not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line. Nicholson ad-libbed. They kept
Put it on the poll
that
at
was
Le
Nicholson.
Batard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men? Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say? Who
Dad
said
on a
what?
hot
In
tin
what
roof.
movie?
Let's keep going. Let's see how long it takes you to get.
Play it again.
I think did he win an Oscar? I think
Yes.
he won an Oscar
Yes, he
for
won
this.
Best Actor.
Yes.
Bull Durham.
No!
Good answer. Good answer.
Put it on the
Raging
poll.
Bull. Raging
Put it on
Bull.
the poll.
Raging
No!
It's a bull movie.
Just naming De Niro movies.
Red Bull. I don't know.
Put it on the poll. Was a blind Pacino in Bull Durham?
Chicago Bull.
And put it on the poll as well. Was a blind Pacino in Raging Bull? First of all, it's a really random thing to have stick in a Dolphin.
I say it all the time.
No, but it's been for 30 years. That movie's 30 years old. I don't want to tell him what the movie is. Keep guessing, Greg. Keep trying to guess what the Al Pacino movie. How many Oscars has Pacino won? Because he
A Few Good Men.
You already guessed that, and we already told you that it's not A Few Good Men.
Okay.
And you're not man enough to handle the truth.
Right. Okay.
Classic line.
It's got a military theme to it. I just can't come up with a
It's
name.
not a military theme, but I think he's a former military guy.
Okay,
And
He was a colonel.
There you go.
Patton.
Colonel Sanders. I don't know. I'm never going to get it. I don't know movies.
Wow, it's his only Academy Award.
the
Greg doesn't know
scent
movies.
of a
Woman. See? I told you I was going to get it.
your son had no idea where that sound
where I
was
get it
from.
from.
This
Oh,
is
really?
2 generations of idiot. Pop
No.
culture idiot.
I knew it was Al Pacino.
Greg, you cannot listen to
De
what you
Niro.
just did for the last 4 minutes and say that that is some sort of expertise that you're bragging about.
First of all, I speak for moviegoers in general. Al Pacino and De Niro are always interchangeable. They're always mistaken for each other. They're the same person.
De Niro could not have been the devil.
They've won the same awards. They're like the same people.
They were only in one scene together, like in their movie careers.
I know, but they're parallel lives. And you know it.
Put it on the poll. Do you often confuse De Niro and Pacino, and you know it? At Le
And you
Batard
know it.
Show.
You're going to have to wait for that one.
Exactly.
That was staggering. Even by the standards of the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody, where your son Michael asks you movie questions and you flail and fail and get them all wrong, even by those standards, that was an amazing amount of ignorance.
Nick, before we let you talk about the Steelers, you're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting? Me, I'm not interested in interesting. So how do you keep it predictable? How do you keep it ho-hum? How do you just let it just be?
Was that Jason Tatum asking that question?
Young lady, you are my kind of gal. That's my lane. That's my lane of romance. I invented predictable. Nobody has perfected the art of dull routine like yours truly. As a matter of fact, little inside information here, my wife and I schedule our naughty time months in advance, like doctor's appointments. Quite often, she'll have to cancel because she said something came up. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll have to cancel because something didn't come up. That kind of thing.
It's good luck for us.
Do we have another question for the Love Doctor here after such great advice?
With Chris listening.
Oh, we're doing it, baby.
What are you guys doing, man?
Oh, you want question number 2?
Yeah, let's go question number 2.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Hey, man, I need your help, man. So I'm out of town for Mother's Day, trying to figure out what can I get my girl for Mother's Day in another city.
Oh, wow. Buddy, I'm worried about this. Not one, but 2 of the Love Doctor's marriages began rending like cheap fabric when Greg was either out of town at a sporting event or away at a doctoral conference. And the exes were doing the clandestine bumpy bump behind my back. Jack, I suggest you get your girl, which you'd never expect, a private eye to keep an eye on her randy ass.
You know about that randy ass, Nick?
I don't like this at all.
Thank you, Love Doctor. Don't go anywhere. We may go back to you. Appreciate you.
I don't like this at all.
Somehow the least embarrassing Cody on today's show.
Wait till Nick finds out that Chris, with Greg sitting nearby, admitted about a half an hour ago that when he's having a hard time becoming aroused, he thinks of his wife's twin sister.
To be clear, just putting a punctuation on the salary cap conversation, when I'm saying to you, without a salary cap, what I want from my management group, I want them to be better than everybody else because it doesn't matter how much money they have, whether they're down or not down. I don't want all of these groups to have a socialism and a baseline mediocrity where the executives don't have to be better than anybody. It's just all equalized for them so that, you know, Steve Cohen can't make owner over here rich because he got the toy. He gets to show off Juan Soto at the parties instead of some other owner who wanted to be able to show off Juan Soto at the parties.
Yeah, but no teams end up winning when their front office is stupid. Like we just saw the New York Knicks finally have become a respectable
I saw the
franchise.
Cavs win a title. Get out of here. The Cavs won a title. The Cavs won a title. All they did was everything wrong and then get LeBron back.
I think not just because the World Cup's going on, I think you can look to soccer and find innovative ways that these smaller clubs, perceived mid-table and feeder clubs have been forced to become resourceful because soccer, no salary cap. There are FIFA financial fair play rules that are constantly bent by the top-end clubs. But Chelsea spent a ton of money. They did not make Champions League. A team like Bournemouth outperformed them this year. We've had Leicester City win a championship. Borussia Dortmund made it to a Champions League final. And yes, it's a bigger club, but it's not Bayern Munich. They made it to a Champions League final. Why? Because their scouting network found Erling Haaland and Jude Bellingham beforehand. So it has made teams more resourceful and really pour into analytics. And it's actually made for a very interesting dynamic because while the resources are pumping into the bigger clubs more than ever right now, you're also seeing the mid-table ascend and benefit from revenue sharing.
So there's no kind of draft over there? You just get to recruit players?
You find a player, your academy goes out and finds a player, identifies a player, develops that player, you get those discovery rights, and it's a business model. It's a business model. It's what I hope will eventually come to American sports.
It'll never happen.
We have a lot of things to get to before we run out of time today, okay? And apart from the show proper, we've got a couple of things that normally exist over these 3 live hours that are going to be post-game and after post-game. So we've got Pitch Clock, we've got Good Follow. You also have a bit of content that's floating around out there that is me interviewing an anonymous wrestler who's a whistleblower and told Tyler Hero, retire ho. That's floating out there as well, and we will get Morally Abhorrent will be the post-game today. So a lot of bonus show in a lot of different places. And also, Tony's about to leave because he's headed to go see if he can talk to Giannis and Bobby Portis. But I think there's a problem in that these guys are doing a lot of media today. And I heard Zaz grumbling because I think that...
Dan, I'm sitting at the table out there. You know, we're doing production stuff. I'm finishing my bagel. Tony's finishing it. Tony gets a huge plate every morning for breakfast. If you're wondering all the money that's being spent here at breakfast, Tony has one of everything every morning. Okay, whatever.
What?
Yeah. I look at your plate, you got everything.
I got a little bit of egg, a little bit of bacon, and a little bit of potato. What's wrong with that?
Sausage?
No.
Yes.
Not today. Not today.
Anyway, he's finishing his plate. I'm finishing my bagel. All right. And I say, yo, I'm getting Bobby Portis today on Zaslow Show 2.0. And he says, yeah, I'm getting Bobby Portis too. I'm going to the arena. I go, okay, cool. What time? He goes, 2 o'clock. I go, I'm scheduled for 2 o'clock.
We're both scheduled for 2 o'clock. Guess who's going to get him?
Me.
I'm going to be in person.
I was a broadcaster for the Miami Heat radio network for 12 years.
What have you done for me lately, Eddie?
You've done nothing ever for
What
them.
are you talking about? I was just at Heat camp. Insane? You nuts, man?
I have 2 championship rings. I'm a champion broadcaster.
I'm trying to bring more championships over there.
He was a proud member of the Junior Heat.
Okay, we'll see. I'm going to get him. They're going to give him to me before you. And you know what? It's going to be extra insulting for you because you're actually going to be there in person. I don't need to go in person. I'm going to be right here. And they're going to call me on the stream, on a video link. And they're going to give him to me before you. You know what?
Yeah.
He's going to be on video with me. You're going to be standing next to him waiting.
If that happens, I'm going to derail the interview.
That's what's going to happen.
I'm going to derail the interview.
I dare you to do that.
Neither of you are going to get him if I ask for him.
Ooh!
No, but you're going to be here. Who cares?
If we're being honest here, since you joined the broadcast, team's on no winning. Okay, so I don't know.
They went to the finals my very first season.
Again, no winning.
You were an ancillary piece.
No winning.
They hoisted babies because
you
of me.
were an ancillary piece.
So I don't know what you're bragging about.
You were
over there.
behind Hewitt on the depth chart.
Okay, Hewitt. I only got to do it because Kirsten Hewitt left.
Do it, Hewitt.
What do you think is going to be the end result here, Mike? Because
I already told you, it wasn't a prediction.
And be like, Zazzle's going to get pushed back.
I don't think any of us get him.
That would be a big surprise because they told me I got him.
I will 1,000% have him on Zaslow Show 2.0 today.
They can't be happy that we talked to the guy with the wrestling mask, right? Like they want all of this to go away. They don't want people asking about this today. I saw that Bam was at the ESPYs yesterday, a star-studded affair. Was that at Madison Square Garden? Did they do that at Madison Square Garden last night? Because they had a lot of celebrities there. And the reason I bring up Madison Square Garden is that I also heard that Bon Jovi was in the middle of a 9-show extravaganza at Madison Square Garden.
The Lincoln Center.
Okay. And so, it was a Madison Square Garden joke that they then made. I guess that was...
It's Will Ferrell said.
Yeah, Will Ferrell said that, but I guess he was joking. When I thought of... It was confusing to me because Bon Jovi doing a 9-night tour in MSG, how many other bands... / artists can do 9 nights. I know Billy Joel does like once a month.
Harry Styles and Billy Joel had residencies at that arena.
So, but the 9 I did not think that there were very many rock bands anymore. I know Taylor Swift could probably do a month straight of shows, but I was not aware that there are very many rock bands anymore that endure in a way that could do 9 straight nights at Madison Square Garden and fill it out every night. What's that list of musicians, modern musicians? How many are on it? How many?
I mean, I saw Rage Against the Machine a few years ago at MSG. It was the 3rd of 3 straight nights at MSG.
So if I ask you guys for a number, like if you guys thought just all acts in the world, obviously Bad Bunny could do something like that. But
Fish can do it.
Fish.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be Fish. Yeah, Fish can.
Yeah, Fish could do as many nights there in a row as they want.
Anything that's Grateful Dead adjacent. But you could look to the Sphere and you could see some acts that have had that juice. Backstreet Boys have proven that even today they can pack a house with a residency deal. No Doubt presently has a residency.
So
Kenny
you're not
Chesney.
surprised that Bon Jovi still has the clout to do 9 straight nights?
In New York? No,
Yeah,
I'm not surprised
Not
by
surprised. It's the building. The building. He's not going to do 9 straight nights at State Farm Arena, but MSG is also part of the attraction.
I'll give you a name right now. There's an artist named Noah Khan who I just went to see recently. He sold out.
Play stadiums.
He sold out 4 straight nights at Fenway Park.
Yeah.
4 straight nights. He's the first artist ever to do it, and you've never heard of him.
Proper Chelsea fan.
But that's half as much, like that, or half as many nights in a row. What's the number? If I said over under number of music acts going today that could do,
Stones can do it.
The Rolling Stones could still do it,
Yep.
right?
Stones can do it.
Everybody better start playing the game. Nothing's good enough for me.
Pearl Jam? No, I want someone to give me a number.
But
20,
it won't be good
15,
enough for
12.
me.
Well, but give me one so it cannot be good enough.
We've
And I
given you several.
No, but
Wait,
I'm
wrong
asking
mic.
for a number. I'm asking for a number.
A dozen. I'd say a dozen.
Thank you. We
More
move
than
on.
a dozen.
You're welcome.
We can move on.
I want to tell him he's wrong so bad.
You haven't given me a number to say that you're wrong.
Yeah, but I would have said he was wrong.
But you haven't given me the number to give me the pleasure
Just tell
of
him
being
he's
able
wrong.
to
No,
say
that's-
you are gonna be wrong. But
Dozen is a bad
give me
answer.
the pleasure I want. You haven't been the same since you ejaculated from your 3 penises.
Dozen's a bad answer. That seems low. Ask Roy. Impress him on it.
8.
That's exactly the correct number. Way to go, Roy. You did it correctly. 8.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
No, ask Mike about climate change and why it's his fault.
That's a bit that you were doing that I was ignoring during the break, but go ahead. Do it now. I was
Dan,
I was trying to ignore
you're
it while
super
talking
pumped.
to Zaz.
Yeah, I'm sure you're super pumped. On the heels of what I thought was a strange segment for me personally, where I wasn't able to come up with a fix for climate change, nor was I able to find out when it started. But Dan, I know you're super pumped about this. You're going to text all your environment
I
friends.
just didn't have enough time to give you the answer.
Yeah, I appreciated the setup there too. Your climate change group chat's going to love this. The World Cup final is going to be impacted by climate change. Wildfires in Canada mean poor air quality in New York, New Jersey stadium. How pumped are you? And how badly will I disappoint you that I don't have an answer for it?
I don't know why it is that you think I'm pumped, or I was thinking about this the other day as I'm horrified by hearing the stories and reading the stories of climate scientists who are learning how to hunt and fish and moving to the Northeast because they know the horrors that are headed this
They're
way.
moving to the Northeast to try and hunt? So I got bad news for them. They're going the wrong way.
So I am obviously concerned and have never rooted harder to be wrong about we're ignoring the crisis of our lifetime.
We're all gonna die.
You think I want to be right? Like as fire fills the sky, you think me of all people, who my father taught me how to fix nothing. My father only taught me how to get friends who can fix things. You think I want to be floating with my dog on a raft because we're flooded and fire fills the sky because I'm going to be floating around going, I was right, I warned you guys. I told you that it was going to be apocalyptic,
Equal parts, you're right, and everyone else is wrong.
I told you guys these were going to be extinction level events, and then the gurgling sound of me drowning while my face is on fire.
You'll be happy to know that I do have a solution for the climate change that is going to impact the World Cup final. Longer halftime. It's going to be reportedly up to a 30-minute halftime. Do you know why?
Is it because it's too damn hot and inhumane to play because of the fire and you got to be able to breathe?
No, it's because of Madonna and Justin Bieber and BTS And Shakira, you know about that Die Die? It's a song of the summer. Do you know that if you translate Die Die, she just keeps saying let's go, but it's in all sorts of languages? Die Die, I believe, is Italian. Ito, that's Japanese. Dale, that's let's go. Ale, that's let's go. And then she finishes it with just saying let's go. She says let's go, let's go, let's go all the time. That's what Die Die is.
You believe I will be happy when fire fills the sky and people are coughing.
Yes, I've never been more sure.
100% you would rather die being right than live being wrong.
That's a great T-shirt. It reminds me of what my father used to say. I'd rather die a coward than live a hero. No, I'm sorry, live.
Dying a coward's worst case scenario.
Yeah.
What are you doing there?
Can't get fooled again.
He'd rather live as a coward than die a hero, is what my father used to say. Let's do gas.
Can't get fooled again.
Let's do gas bag of the week. Roy, what is it that needs context here on who's speaking and who is the gas bag of the week?
All right, so Steve Yzerman stepped down as general manager and executive vice president of the Detroit Red Wings. Having problems up there. Dylan Larkin was to be traded. So a sports fan called into a Detroit radio station and gave his theory about why he's been so bad as general manager.
Tim is next on 97.1. Hello, Tim.
There was a clip a few years back on TNT where they were interviewing Yzerman in between periods, and he basically said, without saying, he smokes a nice one, every once in a while to relax. Do you think maybe he was on Devil's Lettuce a little too much? He was a little too passive, perhaps.
What? What, think that they're high?
Do you think that was a factor?
No. What?
Do we think that Steve Yzerman struggled because he's a pothead? Is that what you just asked us? No. No, I don't. And did he admit that?
No.
I feel like if he admitted that, are you on the Devil's Lettuce? Are you the pothead? What?
All right. Well, there's that.
No!
Gas bag of the week.
Does that deserve applause?
I love radio remotes. Birds chirping in the background. The soft sounds of you adjusting your headphones.
Are you on the Devil's Lettuce?
The fact that that's probably a car dealership. Oh, that's hot. I like that. I'm an audiophile.
Down at Potemkin Mazda.
So is Roy. Roy is, I don't know what that look is on Roy's face, but
Sonically pleasing.
Looked a bit like old girlfriend longing. She was a real Hellcat. Like there.
Yeah. Real tomcat. I love that. Oh, hey, Gary Abar. I'm getting a little. My return is a little too loud, Gary Abar. Oh man.
Where's Tree?
Oh, yeah. What's the ISCN settings? G.722.
I get this joke too.
We got a backup coupler. Hell yeah, G.722.
It's a good call by you.
Gary Abar, Jeremy, was the most competent of all of the engineering and audio help that we had. But that particular sound that Roy just played that made him both nostalgic and longing in a way that is weird. There's a little nature in there. But what you really hear there that is making Roy laugh, and it's what Zaz is appreciating here as well. Rare is it that you get the sound of what it sounds like on the very lowest rung of the show business ladder. And this is below that. Like, so you got the lowest rung of the show business ladder, and then you've got where you plant the ladder underneath that. And then underneath that, then the car people coming by, and you're surrounded by used car salesmen, and Ed Williamson is up your ass.
Just 500 due at signing.
Tax tagging time.
We got a bounce house here for the kids. The cookies are warm and the coffee is hotter.
My father would show up at those when we weren't doing the remotes just to have like the pigs in a blanket that have been there since Wednesday on a tray where, Julio, the sad car dealer guy who's finishing 9th place that just out of the bonus that week is sniffing around as you're talking about Lusaka Polite.
Got Defo in the corner asking trivia questions at JM Lexus about the 1970s Knicks. I love it.
That's where we started right there. Gary Abar's the height of the professionalism. I don't know why they did that. Look, people in Gary Abar's position in my history in this business, every last one of them has been insane. Gary Abar's the only sane one.
He's a beacon.
He was the only guy. That guy was a lighthouse. That guy, whenever that sound was happening, Gary, the birds are too loud. I wasn't expecting those at the car dealership. Also, there's an alligator in lot 3 because we're in the Everglades.
Ed Morse, of course. All right, Dan, I'm going to go get Bobby Portis.
No. Your appointment's not till 2 o'clock.
No, I'm getting there at 11:30. Doors open at 11:30. I'm going to be there right now.
You know what? That's just more time you're going to be standing around and waiting because you're going to be standing next to Bobby Portis. Waiting.
I'm telling you, call him Bobby Portis. You're done, Joe. Somebody cut that for me.
That never happened. How dare you? How dare you?
The sheer panic when an ISDN dropped.
Which they always did.
Always.
They always did.
Gotta have that backup Comrex.
Comrex. Codec. I have a backup codec.
It is hard to fathom how far we've come. It started there.
Now I can just join a show from my phone.
That's ground zero of like the lowest point in all of our lives, all of us together. And
Well, easy. You did interview a luchador about Tyler Hero's DMs.
That's true. Yeah.
What has become of that? Is the internet laughing at just the absurdity of the idea that we platformed the ridiculousness of a fight that started with someone saying to Tyler Hero in his mid-20s to retire, ho?
The amount of this league tweets that I saw based off of this interview yesterday. I mean, so it ended up on Bleacher Report. It ended up aggregated by all of these different people. And my algorithm was just full of people making jokes about how insane it was. They weren't even commenting on the substance of it, but they were looking at a man in a gold mask on his face with a distorted voice telling us about DMs.
I have to salute that troll because my idea for that segment, I thought the funniest form of that segment would have been to treat it the way that Pablo Torre Finds Out treated all of his aspiration guests, where we were doing the pixelation and we were doing the voice changing. But what he got as a mask is better than anything I could have invented in my imagination. Like, if we had shipped him something, it wouldn't have been as funny as whatever it is that he chose to protect his anonymity there.
I pitched him on like just throwing a sheet or a blanket over himself, and he messaged me back just holding that mask in his hand, and he said, "Is this good?" And I said, "That is perfect."
It's performance art.
We're out here at Bet Boys. Adrian's out here with the Ticket Chicks. He's got fish tank tickets to watch the Expos. They're in town for 3.
Is that a live call-in that you're doing from there?
Hey, it's Mike Ryan. I'm here at Tire Kingdom. They got a 2-for-1 special, and we got Globetrotter tickets. Come on out. Ticket Chicks are here.
Have we been doing this long enough that that's a call that you would have to be making that wouldn't be on a cell phone? Because there were remote calls that weren't set up quite that professionally, as I recall. There were call-ins that were just on a phone at the beginning of cell phones.
Yeah, we had cell phones. Cell phones became a thing that like everyone had a cell phone. 2000 maybe. Yeah, so we were a few years in.
So that was the height of technology, the idea of being able to call on a mobile phone to say that you were on the corner of Flamingo.
Tell them Zaz sent you.
And then they say, who's Zaz?
God, those are some crazy assignments. You'd get so happy if you drew one person. Yeah. There was nothing sadder than the Ticket Chicks leaving with a stack full of tickets.
Just packing the roulette wheel up.
Where's Adrian? The promotions guy is always flirting with the Ticket Chicks. That's the deal.
It's a different time. Zaz, are you someone who did how many remotes?
Ticket ladies is what we call them now.
I mean, I did plenty of remotes. So, I mean, my first time slot was 7 to 10 p.m. at night. So, yeah, like I would have to do remotes from sports bars and doing shows on weekends before I had a permanent show at car dealers all the time.
No, but wait a minute. But sports bar is rungs and rungs higher on the happiness chain
Yeah.
than the car dealership.
Yeah. I do car dealerships on the weekends. Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
A car dealership on the weekend
Yeah.
hurts even
noon,
more.
Noon to 3, Dan. Noon to 3 on a Saturday at the car dealership. Absolutely.
We thank the audience again and everybody who's been with us for 20 plus years on the idea that you helped us put fertilizer on all that, something that started way back then. Now, here we are 16 years later still doing something that helped us build all of that, which is LeBron watching, whale watching. There have been some people in the Miami Heat's camp who are optimistic because they think that LeBron is waiting until after Giannis gets introduced. And I guess that's a reason for hope. Philadelphia seems more optimistic than I thought Philadelphia would be. Can you guys get me the sound of Steve Kerr? It is hard for me to believe, legitimately hard for me to believe, Zaz, that in 2026, the information age, when you can't keep anything quiet, it seems to be an almost total mystery as to what LeBron James is doing. We all have our suspicions, but it doesn't seem like anybody feels like they can be trusted on accurate information. So you tell me what Steve Kerr is doing here as Steve Kerr drives away and a bunch of fans tell him that they want LeBron.
How you guys doing? Good. Hey, we need to get LeBron, man.
No, we need LeBron.
LeBron.
Oh, we got it.
Okay, that's good. And
Put that on Twitter.
okay, I got you.
That's how the news is going to break. Bobby Porty. Yo!
He did seem pretty sure, right? But that's also his sense of humor.
I mean, in his car.
Is he just being sociable? Is he being friendly with fans, trying to
Yeah.
make them feel good, passing around the feel good, or does he know something?
I mean, you would think so. Except you look at PTI's podcast yesterday. Now, I never thought of Tony Kornheiser being the one to break the news here. But if you look at PTI's podcast from yesterday, an episode in which they don't talk about LeBron James and the Warriors, seemingly, the title of that episode is Steph Curry behind LeBron's stunning Warriors decision, ? Also, Kawhi is back, ? Now, the description doesn't say anything about LeBron and the Warriors here. And I thought, all right, maybe this is just a simple mistake. They're going to leave it up, whatever.
Well, but wait a minute. Just to explain to the audio audience, the headline here is the question. Steph Curry, put it back up on the screen, please. The question is being asked as if it's a done deal. LeBron's stunning Warriors decision. Is Steph Curry behind LeBron's stunning Warriors decision when no one thinks there has been a stunning Warriors decision?
Exactly. Except that's what gets published to this podcast. And so everyone's wondering, like, did ESPN, and pardon the interruption, accidentally leak this information? And all of us were sort of downplaying that until they changed the podcast title, which almost gives more credence to the conspiracy theorists who were going, hey, why is this there? And now, why did you feel the pressure to change it?
Yeah, if I woke up this morning and I checked and it was still there, it's like, okay, they're having some fun, they want to get some attention, whatever. But the fact that they decided, oh no, we need to change this. That to me was like,
it's weird.
Wait, what? Why are you changing it?
They got the script leaked.
I don't know what to think.
I do. There's an incompetent intern somewhere along the chain who writes poorly.
Yeah, we know one thing about Tony is that he used to do that for PTI.
Oh.
So with history as our guide, it was just probably some idiot.
It's a Tony?
It's a Tony.
You think Kornheiser has some secret information, is then writing a headline? Like, what? How do you think all of that? What is the internet doing with this? Look, this is something. There are any number of things about the stupidities in journalism, the details in journalism that people don't care about. I'm guessing that when we were writing, me and Greg Cody said very little more than we don't write the headlines. We don't write our own headlines. Whatever your objection is to that headline over my column, that's not, I don't write that. But nobody cares about that distinction. Nobody. This is not written by anyone credible. This is written by someone who hasn't been paid a lot and is just beginning in this business, has done their job poorly. And the reason it's being corrected in the morning is because somebody's getting slapped in the head. What are you doing bringing this stupid attention to our credibility? We're PTI. We're monsters in journalism. How did we hand this off to some 19-year-old intern who's now fired?
If we can also put that back up real quick, that graphic, I'm sorry for the video team. Kawhi Leonard is spelled as Kawahi.
That's not how you spell it?
Oh, in the description.
Kawahi, Kawahi. That is not how you
Not
spell
in the
it.
title, but in the description.
There it is. Look at that. Yet more evidence. So did they fix that too? Let's see.
This is a bit of a relief for me personally, because we've all had the cold shiver down our spine when Dan realizes there's a typo in our descriptions.
God, yeah.
This is as disastrous an episode description as I've ever seen in podcast history.
They made Kawahi Hawaiian. They made Kawhi Leonard one of the great
and LeBron a warrior. This is a stellar day for Meadowlark Media and our enterprise.
Juju Gotti is here. As I told you, we have an assortment of content that is going to be after the show. In the postgame today, we'll have Morally Abhorrent. Mike Ryan will have a lot of soccer coverage with you. We couldn't have enough of that
English
today.
Tears, too. Going to be joined by two guests. Will Gavin, co-host of the S Word on TalkSport. He's English. And I would really like to find out how he feels about things. And Tom Bogert, our good friend from The Athletic, will be joining us as well.
Jeremy will have some pitch clock for you, and Juju Gotti and Trista will have some Good Follow. What are we looking forward to on Good Follow before we get to it, Juju?
Man, we're going to be looking forward to people who love the W. I know y'all keep saying over and over and over, it's the slowest time in sports media. No, it's not. It's a lot going on right now in these streets. It's WNBA going on. It's a lot of tennis. Yannick Sinner, salute to my boy. He picked up another one. So we're going to have to give some credence to a lot more of these sports. I know y'all getting old and y'all got y'all little routines. Y'all like to be in bed by supper. But it's a lot of games going on at 11 p.m. on the East Coast, bit, bruh. So be excited about it. Let's get some lingo going. You dig?
Fair enough. Good criticism. That is dated. That is dated reference by me to say that yesterday the ESPYs are on the slowest sports day of the year.
All right. Thursday Thunder is presented by DraftKings Sports. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Juju, go ahead.
Yes, sir, man. Excuse me. Pardon me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just counting up my winnings from last week.
Juju, dude, you're on a run. You're on a run,
you feel
dude.
Me? You feel me? I know the W. You dig it? So, hey, man, you might want to lock in. Tonight, we going with Big Paige buckets for 20 points against the Liberty. Paige always show up no matter what. And she done snuck into the MVP conversation right now. Lo and behold, her, Olivia Miles, and Asia. Next leg, Brianna Stewart, Stu York City for over 18 points tonight against those damn Wings. And last leg, the Duck herself, the Oregon Duck, quack, Sabrina Ionescu for over 15 points. She mad at these Wings. They keep getting the best of them Liberty. So Sabrina going to have something to say about it tonight. Lock it in. The crown is yours.
And thank you again, Juju, for pointing out a legitimate blind spot of mine. I've been saying that for so long that I'm simply repeating it, and it doesn't sort of allow for the idea that not only do we have a new league that has formed, it's not that new anymore, but is busy right now. You are also correct that Wimbledon just did finish, although it wasn't on Wednesday. Can we get an update on the polls, please, at Le Batard Show?
Yes, sir, man. Before I say the polls, I want to say out there to Caitlin Clark, man, you're looking kind of crazy and crazier these days on the film slow motion because people don't necessarily get to see this backwards. Look how my sister's screaming dead in the referee face. Come on, man. This highlights how unfair sometimes it be in society, bro. When you look like Caitlin Clark, you can yell, you can scream, and folks' faces, spittle can even hit their cheek. And people gonna meet it with some kind of acceptance, like, oh, she's just passionate. Oh, she's just very competitive. But can you imagine if I did that? If I did that one time and it was caught by one camera, everyone's opinion of me would change forever. So we got to keep this energy across the board. And ref, you got to take her ass up. I don't know what, ref number 24, get it together. Wake up. This is America.
Two
First
Americas.
poll. Hello,
Hold
my
on,
brother.
hold on a second, Juju. Zaz wanted to say something here.
Yeah, I mean, Juju, they treat the referees like shit in that league. Like I don't think there's a league in this country that treats their officials worse than the WNBA.
Exactly, brother. And I think we got to remember that these ladies and these fellas who are refereeing these games, they at work. So we got to treat them with a little bit more respect than they do. If they miss a call, hey, man, it ain't up to us. We can't throw stones. Like you said, Mike, the other day, hey, man, some tweets went on. We can't just punch folk in the face because they said something. So we need to stop yelling at these referees. Salute, though, to everybody involved. Has Lionel Messi washed over 1,000 babies?
Over 1 million babies. She's certainly done over 1,000.
Certainly.
64% of the audience says yes, he has.
Bobby Porty.
Does anyone love a hydration break more than Jordan Pickford? 83% of the audience says no, they don't.
Bobby Porty.
Both rosters in the lineup. Never watch soccer. Drafting on just appearance. Is Messi the last pick? 67% of the audience says yes, he is.
Bobby Porty.
Worst commissioner interview, Robert Manfred with us or Vince McMahon's interview with Costas? 63% say Manfred with us.
I'm not going to be deposed.
If you have that crazy hair, are you susceptible to mistakes? 88% of the audience says yes.
Bobby Porty.
And last poll, should Cape Verde be given third place? 88% of the audience says yes, and those are your polls.
Bobby Porty.
Thank you, Juju. We will catch up with you here with all of the bonus content. Good follow, pitch clock, and morally abhorrent is going to act as the post game today. I don't know what you guys would say is the most important or interesting thing about all of the interesting things involving Messi and Argentina. But I'd put pretty high on the list the idea that the poll respondents and most of the people watching all over the world, if you ask them, you've never watched soccer before. Here's a lineup of all of the players. Let's make it they're just wearing their shorts. All of the players. You can see their entire body. We're going to put them all next to each other. Who's the last player selected from among all of those players? For that player to be far and away the best player that is in this tournament at 39, and in the discussion, any discussion you're having for best ever in that sport and now best ever across sports, it really is an insanity to think of that physically as the height of athleticism.
Okay, so we're looking at them only in their shorts. Do we know their ages as they're lined
Well, but
up?
you can look at Messi and see that he's older than everybody else.
Okay, good. Fine. I would be looking at it almost like, I think this is a trick question. There must be a reason why that guy is in the game. Like, he must be amazing to be old and small. I think I would see through this trick question.
I've played too many pickup soccer games with small South Americans.
But when we talk about Jalen Brunson always being the smallest guy on a basketball court, Messi is always that on the pitch too, is he not? Like
Yeah.
there's not anybody playing in this tournament who's appreciably smaller than him, is
not
there?
in this tournament, not this cycle. There have been smaller players, but that's what's so beautiful about this sport. Bigger, faster, stronger, doesn't matter. A player like Lionel Messi can be better at that occupation than Erling Haaland is.
Yes or no? Ask you right now. Yes or no? Messi plays in the 2030 World Cup.
No.
I don't know if he's done playing for the national team, though. I could see him maybe pushing it and playing in a Copa America.
It's hard to answer yes or no, though, without seeing this next result. Because if he gets the win, why do it again? I think Pele's history and maybe he respects this because certainly it's known in the sport. the way the story goes with Pele is he won 2 World Cups and then they injured or missed the next one and then won another World Cup when that cycle of 16 years, 3 World Cups, you're not supposed to be. This is pre-athletes playing into their late 30s. It didn't make any sense at the end that the most aged version of Pele would be able to win another World Cup after losing one.
We are living in a time where our greatest athletes of that sport ever are playing into their 40s. Brady, LeBron. Why are we assuming not Messi?
The reason that I'm doing that is because LeBron is a physical creature, unlike most I've ever seen. Brady sort of played a position that didn't require the same sort of things running-wise that soccer requires, and I just can't believe that he'll be able to do this again the same way. He
doesn't run that much.
4 years from now, the way that he's doing it now.
It's just wild that he's that much better since he was 4 years ago.
That doesn't make any sense
It's a complete
to me.
mastery. To be doing that with his right foot, it's absurd. And I think winning the last World Cup obviously helped him a lot in terms of legacy, but also the performances that he's had, the clutchness that he's displayed this World Cup run. I think outside of like a Zidane-like level scandal in the final, the story isn't Leo Messi losing, which is what it's been usually throughout his career. It's the guy that has next won it.
But will he play against San Diego FC in September?
Second half of the Major League Baseball season is underway. For this week's episode of The Pitch Clock, we've got it every single Thursday at 3 p.m. on the Le Batard YouTube channel, as well as over on the Le Batard podcast feed. This week, we have Steven Nelson. He is an NBA TV host, which you might say, like, what? Why would you have an NBA TV host? That's because he's one of the play-by-play voices for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He is a great new guest here on The Pitch Clock. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. You guys are going to like him. I'm going to try to get him on the main show sometime, too. So Steven Nelson is here, and Chris and I continue to square off in our Pitch Clock trivia. I'm starting to get nervous. We're heading toward the trade deadline. We might want to bring some other people in. We'll see if maybe we come up with like a phone a friend scenario or something starting soon. Either way, this is getting hotly contested as we head into the second half. So, trivia as always, Steven Nelson of the Dodgers broadcast, and you can watch it all on the Pitch Clock on the Le Batard YouTube channel.
Coming up this Friday on Mystery Crate, which you can find on YouTube, anywhere you get your podcast. Please subscribe, please like, please follow. Please join.
Please.
Just do it all.
Please.
Join us on Mystery Crate. We got a lot today. Rose is playing Finish the Lyric. It's my new favorite game we do on Mystery Crate. We got a couple more of those. We are not ranking.
We're doing top 3 Nolan movies of all time.
Top 3 Christopher Nolan
So that is
films
ranking.
of all time. That is ranking.
You've only seen 2 of them.
And I am the biggest. You just ruined my joke. I'm the foremost expert on Christopher Nolan movies.
That's fantastic.
So make sure to check in.
I'm
for
the
my-
5 most.
Yeah, the 5 most.
We are also possibly living in a simulation.
That's always the
with
question.
with the Lionel Messi and Lamine Yamal photo.
Yep.
A lot of good stuff on that.
We imagine what Dan would look like if he was the way Messi would christen young babies to be the next great soccer player. We want Dan to do that. That's basically what's happening in that photo.
Good episode of Mystery Crate. Check it out.
God, we need Luis.
Please.
Yeah, we could do that again. I'm sorry.
Final episode of Morally Abhorrent. What a ride it has been. And before we look ahead to what seems like a preordained final between Spain and Argentina, between Lamine Yamal and Leo Messi, something that was handed down from heaven, a photo from 20 years ago becomes viral yet again. I want to rubberneck a little bit with our good friend, Will Gavin, co-host of the S Word over in Talk Sport. Will, you do a lot of covering of the NFL across the pond. That was some Buffalo Bills ass behavior from England.
Couldn't have had me on after a win, Mike. Couldn't have had me on after we'd won a game. Nope. Had to wait until, as always, with the mighty England, we go out in heartbreaking fashion. That's 8 times since we won the tournament. We've gone out in the quarterfinals or later, losing by a single goal. And you'd argue on many of those occasions when we were the better team, devastating stuff. Yeah, rubbernecking is definitely what you're doing. And I made the Buffalo Bills comparison on the S Word earlier today. Just sickening, absolutely sickening.
The reason why the Bills are invoked is because you guys seemingly found you found a way to lose. You always find ways to snag defeat from the jaws of victory, and a lot of the blame is going to Thomas Tuchel. Now, Tuchel was careful. I thought he was pretty thorough in his explanation post-match to why he deployed those tactics. He stopped short of throwing individual and collective players under the bus, but it was clear he thought in deploying the same kind of strategy that won him a match in Azteca, he thought that the players individually could make up the difference. What was the single biggest issue that led to England blowing this match?
How long's this episode got? Because
all right, give me the 3 biggest issues.
I can wax lyrical about this for a while. Listen, there were plenty of issues in terms of the players on the pitch. He's not wrong in those terms. In a half an hour stretch from when England scored to when Argentina equalised, we only completed 25 successful passes. There was a 20-minute stretch, or about an 18-minute stretch of that, where we completed just 2 successful passes, and that was John Stones and Jordan Pickford passing it between each other in our own box. So the players are not, not culpable for this in any way, shape, or form. Of course they are not. But if you deploy tactics where you put 6 defenders on the field, where you play 5 at the back, where you take Anthony Gordon off and replace him with Ezri Konsa, where you bring Nico O'Reilly on for Declan Rice, when you send that message to your players that we want to get entrenched, we want to sit back, we're going to give them space, and we think we're going to be able to hold them off. But this isn't Mexico crossing from deep to a 35-year-old Raul Jimenez. Yes, it was the Azteca, but we were down to 10 men in that game. Like, that was proper fire and brimstone, getting through it, crawling your way to the mountaintop. This was a situation where we had the upper hand in the game. After 60 hard-fought minutes where it had been back and forth, where it had been physical, where we'd got down and dirty on their level to an extent, and we had come out on top, we just then shrunk. We had that big moment, and we completely disappeared inside our shell. And this is what we did with Southgate. We lost 2 Euros finals where we had leads. We lost a semi-final against Croatia where we had a lead. These are games of football that we could have gone on and won if we were bolder, if we were braver, and if the manager trusted in the quality of the players on the pitch. Thomas Tuchel is paid £5 million a year, 8 million with add-ons apparently from this World Cup, to come in and not be Gareth Southgate, to come in and make the bold decisions when they need to be made. And with 30 minutes left of that game, he ran scared. Cowardly is the word that's been used across TalkSport today, and I find it very hard to disagree with it.
So it's one thing to park the bus and play defensive-minded to protect the lead, but I didn't understand. All 11 players were behind the ball, and they were deep in their box. They gave the greatest attacking player probably ever in immense space to build up a head of steam. And also, this is where I do think the individual efforts can be picked apart here is you're operating in a tight space. How are you leaving Enzo Fernandez that much space? I don't understand why everyone is retreating basically to the back line and letting the greatest player of all time pick him apart with his off foot, I might add.
I know you hear from Warren Barton a lot on TV out there. He's a regular feature on American coverage, but we had him on the show today, and he's absolutely right when he says you could take any goal and find the individual error, find the mistake, find the reason it was scored. And in that situation, two players in Jed Spence and as one of them, not both making the same run, not one going to the ball and one blocking off the cross was a clear mistake. Ezri Konsa and John Stones not being tight to Lautaro Martinez, who, by the way, is not a big man by any stretch of the imagination, was undoubtedly a mistake. I mean, let's be honest. I love Elliot Anderson. 116 million pounds of player should not be distracted by Messi when he's already marked by two men instead of closing Enzo Fernandez down. All of that is true, and all of those players deserve a knock on them for it. But the fact is there was just no outball. There was no outlet. There was never anything beyond just lump the ball upfield and hope. There was never... Jude Bellingham was dead on his feet. Harry Kane was out on his feet. Morgan Rogers was out on his feet. And you're telling me that you couldn't bring on Bukayo Saka. You couldn't bring on Marcus Rashford. You couldn't bring on these players with real quality. Just one occasion, get the ball forward, have them pick it up, put a little bit of pressure on them. We pressed so brilliantly for 60 minutes. We were in Argentina's face, and then we completely dropped off entirely. And it just... He came out, I don't know, I haven't heard the TV comments from him, if I'm going to be honest with you, because I was so angry last night, I just couldn't actually bring myself to go back and watch it. But I've heard everything he said to TalkSport, and he is completely unapologetic in his approach. And he says, well, if I'd thrown on three strikers, then you'd have been still saying the same thing about me. We ended this game with Dan Burn playing up front, receiving crosses from a centre-back in Ezri Konsa. This is madness. A centre-back at right wing crossing to a centre-back up front when you've got some real quality there available to you. I just think if we'd gone and we'd lost this game 3-0 and they'd been hands down a better team than us, it would hurt, but I would feel a lot better about the approach we'd had to the game this morning. Instead, we just went out there and we gave up in that last 30 minutes and we just gave them everything. And unfortunately, because they've got a brilliant player in Leo Messi, and you've got to give praise, right? Scaloni made brilliant substitutions himself. A great decision in starting Simeone, who wore that left-hand side down for us, and then bringing on Rodrigo de Paul, bringing on, obviously, the goal scorer in Lautaro Martinez. Like, those were great decisions. He made front-foot decisions which went and won his team the game. Thomas Tuchel, whilst you could knock Gareth Southgate for never making decisions, Thomas Tuchel made wrong decisions, and unfortunately on this occasion, that's cost him massively.
So, Dan... our host, Le Batard, he has very little time for intangible things, but I was trying to explain to him, no, England gave out because of something that was very quantifiable. They had 12% possession after Anthony Gordon scored. They were quantifiably more tired. This wasn't a thing about will. This was England. And, Will, as you know, in this game, you are more prone to mistakes when you are that fatigued. I thought 100%. That the path that they had to take in Azteca, the wild variance in environment and altitudes, temperatures, the swing from Azteca to Miami Stadium. I was there in that building. I actually thought they caught a break because the sun wasn't shining, but it was swampy. And let me tell you, I am of the belief that Harry Kane is never going to be the same again. I saw a player quite literally leave it all out there. And outside of one long ball, Harry Kane was pretty invisible there. I think if we can pinpoint this to one mistake, one key mistake, was when you have a team that has been pressing your ass the way that Argentina was, you need to bring on a player with take-on ability. And to not put Saka in, to not put Rashford, who would have been my choice, I think ultimately that had a domino effect that ended up tiring out England, that led to the mistakes in marking, that led to what is the most egregious part about that entire match was Enzo fired off a warning shot. And it did not get, it did not get addressed afterwards. Like, where is the panic? Where is the panic from everybody there? This cannot happen again. They just kept repeating the same mistakes. They were so desperate for that match to end. They were so dog-tired by the end. If I could say it was one thing, it was not putting on a creative attacker that had take-on ability to do something about that press. They just played right into Argentina's hand, who looked composed.
I would also have brought on potentially Ollie Watkins as well. And whilst replacing Harry Kane is always going to bring question marks, you know, in the same way that when Norway took off Erling Haaland at half-time of extra, I mean, that's because he knew Dan Burn was coming on, so he was running scared, right? But yeah, other than that, I can still enjoy our wins, right? Even though we lost in such horrible fashion. Just players who can get in behind. They have two fullbacks who cannot defend. They had two centre-halves who were both on yellow cards, and then they replaced one of them with a 38-year-old. Yeah. You don't think that if we're running at those players, we're not going to have a chance of...
What are you doing? I don't understand it. All right, so this is where it's most frustrating, because as someone that has done work in the UK and well familiar with your plight and your story, the fact that you guys are essentially the Buffalo Bills, I thought this time was going to be different. I put a lot of stock in that victory at Azteca, and for 60 minutes, it looked like a prophecy was being fulfilled. You had taken all the kicks to the shins, the American referee letting you play. It became a very South American style game. You score. I thought, my God, it's actually playing out. They have been fortified by all these emotional experiences, the DR Congo comeback, the experience at Azteca, having to come back in a swamp, 1 goal down against Norway. I thought all those things would lead up to, finally, the mental fortitude for England to get past the weight of the badge and get past the boogeyman in Argentina. And then the most English shit happened ever. So where does the state of the nation land right now? Everyone's pissed at Tuchel. No one wants to see him back. Where do you go from here?
Listen, it's very difficult for us to turn around and suddenly be, oh, now you're showing it to me. Come on, guys. This angle is so damning of both O'Reilly and Jed Spence, by the way. What a ball that is. But how on earth the smallest man on the field is getting to that ball ahead of everyone else?
Yeah, it's a shame for Spence. I thought Spence had a really great game in that first half, especially. I thought he was fantastic.
And when he won that tackle when they counterattacked against us, we pressed them straight off the goal. We had a half opportunity. When he ran back and made that tackle, I thought, that's it. That is the kick up the arse we need. That is the proverbial belt to arse that we needed to go, right, let's not forget these team are a threat. But we did do that. The way we reacted to it was to completely go into our shell and hide, and was to completely just go out with a whimper. Going forward, listen, there's no way the FA are going to sack Thomas Tuchel. His contract is too big. They cannot afford it. They believe that with a home Euros in 2 years' time, he can rebuild this team and we could win it at home. And look, maybe we do. But like I said, I've experienced every tournament that we've gone through, from really my first one I remember is 90. I was only 2 years old in 86 for the Hand of God. So, you know, that's not really a memory for me, but I've seen it enough, obviously. And I just go through, I mentioned 8 different World Cup quarterfinals and semifinals that we've lost by a single goal, going out of the Euros to Portugal, losing to Iceland. Like, we are just a team who mentally is not there. Mentally, they do not have that winning ability. They will never be a team that finds a way out of a hole in those situations for some reason. And I think we've either got to go and win a tournament comfortable to instill that winning mentality, or we're going to have to find the right manager to do it. And I thought that was Thomas Tuchel. You'll see the clip from the show today. I bought earlier in the tournament a Keep Calm and Trust Tuchel t-shirt that I ripped up on the show today because I just could not believe I'd so invested my time in him. And when you talk about the mentality, right? I think the Americans will enjoy this. And again, I've said this on our show today, so maybe people will see it on social media. I think it's time to retire 3 Lions. I think the rest of the world
you think football's coming home is the problem?
The rest of the world don't get that it's a joke. They don't get that it's self-deprecating. They don't get that we're taking the piss out of ourselves. And for us, we are taking the most important, the opportunity, the chance that when we are in the most key moments and we're going, yeah, we're probably going to lose this, aren't we? We're accepting that we're going to lose because we always do. If I don't hear it's coming home again until we actually finally win a tournament, which I really hope happens in my lifetime at some point, I'm starting to run out of years at this point. Yeah, then I would be a happy man.
So one last example of rubbernecking here before I let you go and bring in our good friend Tom Bogert from The Athletic to preview.
I just saw Tom pop up on the Zoom, by the way, and I know he's enjoying my pain right now.
Yeah, Tom, you want to drink up some of these tears here? There is, we've been mansplaining the sport for a long time from you chaps, so it's great to see.
I did have a little present for you, actually. I'm going to have to unplug my headphones to do this. So I realized I'm wearing my ears. 1 second. This is just a little t-shirt I wore for you guys underneath my shirt. Football, not soccer, baby.
Yeah.
Football, not soccer.
Not so sure about that anymore.
In the old USA 94 logo. Hopefully I'll be able to hear
not so sure about that. So here's my last rubbernecking question for you, Will. Yeah, you're the Buffalo Bills. You have the 1 star, but previous disappointing runs that didn't end with a championship, they went deep, and they make movies about those teams. So there's a made-for-television movie with Garrett Southgate, right? Those teams.
It was a stage play here in London.
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing?
Yeah,
Oh my
but
God.
those teams are beloved, right? And this was supposed to be a means to an end. It was all supposed to be parts of a story that had a happy ending. You had an iconic performance that will ring eternal once we get some of the emotion away from what we're feeling right now. That performance in Azteca will be pointed at for generations to come, I think, for English fans, but we can't see that right now. All I'm seeing right now is universal disappointment and hatred. And I don't think it's a little thing that Thomas Tuchel is not an Englishman. He's a German, and people approach this with already some preconceived notions. He doesn't have what Southgate had going for him. How will this English national team be remembered and World Cup 2026 be remembered by the English?
I think you're absolutely right in that when I look back on my footballing memories as an England fan, I think about the Spain win at Euro 96. I think about the Netherlands win, in fact, at Euro 96 as much as well. I will look back on that night at the Azteca with real, genuine fondness. Like, that is something that was a great performance. The Croatia win, I know it was only the first group stage, but that was one of the best times I've actually seen England perform in that second half. Like, one of our best ever performances. As I'm sure, the USMNT will look back at that Paraguay game and that Australia game and revel in it, despite the disappointing way that they ended up going out. There will be positivity about it. I think the legacy of it is going to be foretold in. They're not going to get rid of Tuchel. I truly believe that. They just can't afford to, and he's not going to walk away from that contract. So it's all going to be about what the legacy is in 2 years' time. And we host a home Euros for the first time. It's all over UK and Ireland Euros, so it's not just England, but the final will be at Wembley. I imagine we'll play a majority of our games there as well. That will be the legacy of this tournament, because people will fondly remember Southgate's years. After the years in the wilderness, after the Wayne Rooney years, through losing to Iceland, through the Portugal games, all of that, England fell apart over that period of time and there was no unity. There was no togetherness. There was no, and Southgate brought all of that, right? He just was tactically naive when he got to the big games, and that's why he lost them. I really believe that's why he lost to Italy. I really believe that's why he lost to Spain. I really believe that's why he lost to Croatia. He just didn't have that extra gear to go. Thomas Tuchel was brought in to be that guy. He's messed up this time, and messed up bad. A lot of people don't want him here anymore. If we get to a final of the Euros, if we win the Euros at home, I think people will look at this tournament as a stepping stone towards that. If he loses that tournament as well, this will be seen as 4 years wasted.
All right, Will, thank you so much. You've done a tremendous job with our good friend Master Tesfadzian on Talk Sport, the S Word. It's available everywhere. Everybody say goodbye to Will. He's going home. He's going home. He's going. Tom, my buddy, my pal, let us turn the page, unless you want to rubberneck some too and have any takeaways from what we saw yesterday. In fact, you cover MLS. MLS's greatest player ever had quite the moment. And Messi wasn't bad either on the heels of that Rodrigo de Paul performance. I mean, great day for Inter Miami. I was stunned at how good Rodrigo de Paul was. So, legacy-wise, I think Messi has bought himself so much with this knockout round performance. I mean, yeah, he won the World Cup 4 years ago. Dude, it is nuts. He's much better than he was 4 years ago when it comes to the big-time matches, the big-time performances, his output in these knockout stages. Just treetop view on Argentina and Messi and what that match does for the narrative surrounding one of the greatest of all time.
It's unbelievable, truly. So I firmly believe the GOAT debate ended in 2022 when Lionel Messi won the World Cup. And here we are 4 years later, he's back into a final with a team that obviously has a number of good players, a number of high-level players. But the macro view of this team, it's Lionel Messi and it's 10 absolute dogs. Guys that you just don't want to go anywhere near. Guys who will literally kill anything and anybody for Messi in particular, and in addition to just winning. But it's like winning for Messi in Argentina. It's like neck and neck for these players. It is truly astonishing to watch. It's a joy to watch. I love the fighting spirit. I know sometimes that they go a little bit overboard. They cross the line, but they're always on the line. Rodrigo de Paul lives on that line. He knows how to always either get a yellow or walk away when he should have. I was joking in our groups. I was typing out a text. when you need a goal, you sub on Otamendi and Rodrigo De Paul. What's going on here? And then De Paul put in like 3 delicious crosses. And I was like, all right, let me delete. I was wrong. So it was a truly unbelievable spectacle for Argentina in that win over England.
It's weird because generationally speaking, not the best Argentina in terms of top-end talent. They had individual players that were big deals, like Di Maria was a huge attacking player in the prime of his career. This Argentinian team, much like the one from 4 years ago, it is so built around Messi. Whereas before, not that he had to share the limelight, but there were players so capable of individual moments of brilliance that the identity wasn't everything runs through Messi. That's their identity here, and by God, it's working despite not being as talented. That they operate almost like a club team in terms of what their identity is. They know exactly how to play. And I think the most impressive part about Argentina is when the game gets tight and they are chasing it, they don't look like the team that is chasing it. They look composed. The other team that is on the defense looks like they are panicking, looks like they are stressed, looks like they are burning up all the energy. What do you make of that?
They are completely comfortable. I think that they are the mentally strongest team in the world. It's easy to say that after they win a World Cup, after they have these comebacks, but that's just who they are. Like, it's not an act. It's not, the rah-rah speeches, the stuff that you say in the mirror, the Instagram captions that you'll put. No, like, that's who they are, and they know it. For me, when we talk about this team, because, Mike, I agree with you, this team is built around Messi, and guess what? That's a pretty damn good idea. So we could talk tactics, and there's jokes about Scaloni where it's just like, oh, Tuchel will be talking about a false 9 and then the inverted left back who goes into midfield in possession but drops into like that of him being like a master tactician. And then the joke is like, pass it to Messi or you're off the team.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't think that's giving Scaloni enough credit because the best tactical decision is knowing who you are. And Argentina, better than anybody in the world, knows who they are. And I think that's one of my biggest gripes with Thomas Tuchel in England. Just overthinking things. It's almost as if he needs to prove he's smarter than you, rather than, oh, this makes the most sense. This is best for our team. Like, why? Right after the goal, it's bringing on Konsa, and it's keeping Dan Burn loose in the bullpen for the fourth quarter to come in off the bench. It's just like, what are we doing here? You have a team that's worth close to $2 billion, and oh my God, we're gonna bunker and counter like we're Cape Verde. Cape Verde put up a better fight against Argentina.
Give them third place. Give Cape Verde
Honestly,
third place.
Like let them play in the third place game because I know England
doesn't want any part of that.
Want to.
Will's hanging around still. Will, you want any part of that third place?
Absolutely not. It's the worst game in all of football. It's an utter disgrace that it even still exists. And Master has been winding me up all day about it, saying, oh, he still gets to play Saturday. I'm like, no. The nation that believes more than anywhere else that if you're a runner-up, you're just first-place loser, should not believe in a third-place playoff. That is a disgrace. The only thing I wanted to say before I do go, because I thought of this about Messi earlier today, and I looked up the odds. Messi was plus 5,000 to win the Ballon d'Or before the World Cup. If they win on Sunday, with the number of assists and goals he's had, I think an MLS player might just win the Ballon d'Or. Pretty sensational.
What will his Leagues Cup performance do to bolster that case? Because, yeah, the World Cup's nice, but he has the Leagues Cup coming up. I hope he rests.
Can you do it against Colorado Rapids, Leo? I have actually given that thought too, Will. It's not like his club output isn't tremendous, but that's always going to be diluted by what people think globally of MLS. But an MLS player is absolutely bossing this tournament and has the highest output in the World Cup. You can maybe have a few knocks, more than a few, against him because MLS isn't of quality, but it's not like he isn't absolutely dominating that league. I think he has a hell of an argument.
It's madness. We had Julio Arca on the show earlier today, and he said what's amazing is that the Argentine public was still treating Messi, the greatest of all time this week, as like, yeah, but Maradona did it against England in '86. So unless you've done it against England, we're not sure if actually you are the greatest of all time. And then he goes and gets 2 assists and turns the game around almost single-handedly in the last half an hour. Oh, brilliant. Thanks, guys. Show me that as well. That's what I really need. Just rub salt deeper into that wound.
We will once again formally say goodbye to Will Gavin, co-host of the S Word and the Talk Sport, and preview a final that England will not be playing in. That's right. Spain versus Argentina. Market prices suggest that Spain is the favorite to lift the cup. I agree. And I know that we're all breathless after that yet another incredible Argentine clutch performance with Messi, and they have the best player, and everyone is just resigned now. That's amazing how the narrative has shifted. Everyone is resigned now to the greatest player of all time doing greatest player of all time shit in knockout stages, when you realize for the vast majority, these moments have eluded him, and he's having moment after moment after moment after moment in these knockout stages. But I do think Spain presents a unique problem for Argentina. They were lucky to run into an English team that wanted nothing to do with possession, didn't put any players on that knew how to take on anybody, that had anything to do with keeping possession. Dog, that's not the situation with Spain. They love to pick you apart and tire you out, and they are pretty composed, and let's not even mention how defensively stout they are. I do think that we're running into a cool narrative here where Lamine Yamal, even though he hasn't had the greatest tournament by his standards, the goals aren't there just yet, can be the Highlander that has taken out Cristiano Ronaldo and Leo Messi. What say you?
It'd certainly be a fun story to tell. It is a very interesting final. Stylistically, I'm really excited for it because you're right, Mike. If Spain go up 1-0, they're not going to cede possession and bring on 7 center backs and go, whoa, woe is me. We're a small country. We're, this little small team with all these players from Real Madrid and Manchester City and all this. Like, give me a break. But with Spain, they will dominate the game with the ball. They were flawless against France, particularly Fabian Ruiz and Rodri. Like, that double pivot truly didn't put a foot wrong. It was really, really cool to see. Argentina, though, more than any other world power, are comfortable without the ball. If it's 70% possession to 30% possession, Argentina maybe not prefer that, but they're going to be fine because these guys can suffer. These guys can run. These guys can tackle. These guys can compress space, and then that'll give Messi some space in transition. I will say England did a really good job at eliminating space for Messi for the first 60 minutes of the game. And in moments, they were high pressing, and it was difficult for Argentina to play out of it. So that's going to be the playbook for Spain.
And then Gordon scored, and they decided to put everybody in the box. It's crazy.
But no matter what England did, like, Spain's going to play their game, right? But particularly so after you watch that semifinal, as if Spain had any other ideas than to just play their way, it's a pretty good idea to continue to do it. But Argentina, like, that midfield, like Paredes, McAllister, Enzo Fernandez, like, they're obviously really, really technically gifted. But God, they're dogs, man. And I don't want to be so reductive and so simplistic and just keep saying it, but it is what their DNA is. It is the special sauce of this team because Enzo Fernandez is one of the best midfielders in the world. But part of what makes him one of the best midfielders in the world is he's not a luxury player. He's an all-action player. He's competitive. He's nuts. My father-in-law isn't a big soccer guy, and he's been really getting to the World Cup, and I think it's really nice. And he'll text me, and he goes, "Oh, these Argentines are pretty physical." Like, yeah, like, keep watching.
Yeah. And all of that is with intent. Yes, it is their identity. It's all they've known. This is a very South American style, but feeling out the boundaries of how the game is officiated and also writing the officials the way that they do, I do think it's telling when an English player goes down surrounded by maybe the captain. Harry has a couple of words with the official, whereas something happens to Messi, you get crowded by 8 dudes on the pitch. That is, they know how to work the officials. It's part of their game, getting these calls that operate within very small margins, and they just know exactly who they are. They, like I said, a club team with a national team brand, but I do think, because of what you highlighted, the double pivot of Fabian Ruiz, who is undefeated wearing that national team shirt, and Rodri, who now finds himself in the golden ball discussion when he actually didn't look that good in the first couple of matches here, and now he's back to Ballon d'Or form right now. That's not super sexy. Taking away passing lanes isn't super sexy to casual observers. What is it specifically that those two do in the midfield that can play out that Joe soccer fan can say, Tom Bogert told me to look out for this?
It's retaining possession. They don't lose the ball, and Fabian Ruiz is better and better at getting forward. But Mike, like you said it, watch what happens in transition, because the transition moments are the most terrifying when you're going against France. Mbappe, Olise, Dembele, and Spain, the rare times they turned over the ball, Fabian Ruiz and Rodri would cover touchline to touchline, and you won't notice it because they glide. Watch them off the ball is probably my best advice, because that's when you really see them doing their magic, because everything looks so simple. If you're just watching the ball, it's like, oh, another 15-yard pass. Okay. Oh, that was an easy interception, but you don't notice that the intelligence to get to where that space was, and they don't break a sweat. Again, the old quote about Sergio Busquets, it's like if you watch Busquets, if you watch Busquets, you see the game rather than watching the ball. And that's what this team is so good at. And Rodri did not look great early in this tournament. He is back to his Ballon d'Or form as he's played against France. Fabian Ruiz, I think, is constantly overlooked. Mike, like you said, it was kind of a throwaway line, but let's say it again. He's got like 50 caps for Spain. He has not lost one single time. That's unbelievable. No. And this is not somebody who, when we talk about the best midfielders in the world, we probably wouldn't even call him world class, let alone put him in that discussion. This guy's so very good, and he's getting his flowers over the last week because that performance was awesome. When the starting lineup came out, I think there was a couple eyebrows raised, like, why isn't it Pedri? Why isn't it Gavi? But it's Fabian Ruiz, and it's the same thing with PSG. This year, he was injured a little bit, and it's like, oh, can they go to another level because they have a more creative, more exciting attacking player, somebody who's going to dribble or take more touches? And then no, like, you just realize this guy's awesome.
Yeah, Spain's manager has also done wonderfully well. The tactics deployed, every substitution seemingly working for them after that Cabo Verde match. I am curious if Messi, who spent so much time on that right side against England, I'm not really sure how that came to be. It's more than I've ever really seen him operate, at least wearing a national team shirt on that right. Are we going to get situations in which Cucurella is on an island against Messi? Because I do think that while Cucurella is very good and I think is just supremely underrated, I don't like Messi going at him at an increased clip. There is an opportunity here for Cucurella to make a mental mistake that leads to a big chance.
In Cucurella's defense, Mike, there's not literally a single person living on this earth that I'd be content going one-on-one with Messi. And it's the same thing for Lamine Yamal. It's the same thing for Mbappe. And I think that Messi is just so good at everything, right? If he was not a great dribbler, he'd be one of the best through ball artists we've ever seen in this game. Like, that's what we'd be talking about for him. If he couldn't score, we would talk about his dribbling, right? Like, he's like the very, very best at so many things. Another thing that he doesn't get enough credit for is his brain. He drifted to that side because he felt the game and he was in the middle and there wasn't space. And then as the game got compressed, instead of trying to force his way in, he's really smart about he'll drop off and pass and move. Again, these are such simple concepts, but he does it better than anybody in the world. Think of how many goals for Barcelona he scored playing the ball out to Jordi Alba. The defender watches the ball for half a second and Messi's gone. And it seems silly because it's like if there's literally anybody in the world that you won't ball watch and you'll just watch this player, it's Messi. But he knows how to blend. He knows how to look like he's being ordinary or look like he's taking a second off or taking a moment to think. And then the second you look away, he's gone. And that's what Spain have to be so careful about. And going back to Fabian Ruiz and Rodri, that's what they're world class at. Fabian Ruiz in particular, like that shuttler role of going into the half spaces when Cucurella gets forward, he can cover that end line flawlessly. That's what he did against France. I think that is what kept the control for Spain just as much as their ability to keep possession. It was when France turned the ball over, it was Fabian Ruiz cutting those lanes and making sure that Cucurella either wasn't on an island or wasn't getting played in behind. So I think that's going to be the big, like, again, we're going super micro into this, like inside baseball, but that is the space to watch, is when Argentina win the ball back and try to transition, what will the half spaces look like where Messi is? Because Messi is smarter than anybody in the world at, I'm just going to float off the ball. Sometimes I'll press, but most of the time I'm floating. And you'll think I'm just taking a break, but he's constantly doing cost-benefit analysis. All right, if we win the ball right now, I'm going to dart 5 yards that way. Or I'm going to walk over here. Oh, Cucurella's gone. Let me just slowly go into the space that he's leaving. And it's going to be up to Fabian Ruiz more than anybody to be the double team and to be the person that's covering that space to help Cucurella.
Tom, for every punch, there's been a counterpunch in the analysis. It's been brilliant. I can't tell who you think is going to win this match. So Tom Bogert of The Athletic, whose coverage is not behind a paywall for the remainder of this World Cup tournament, go ahead and support him. He does a great job on Golazo Network as well. Who wins this World Cup?
Mike, it sounds like you can't tell who I'm leaning because I don't know where I'm leaning. You could tell me, make the case for Spain, and it's like, that's infallible. Of course they're going to win. And then conversely, you'd be like, give me a minute on Argentina. And I'll be like, that's infallible. Of course they're going to win. We're sitting here a few days away from the game. We're still reveling in the semifinals. Those are two very good semifinals. The England-Argentina one was obviously more pyrotechnic and more fun to watch. But that Spain performance was flawless. I'm leaning Argentina and Messi. And we've gotten caught this way where like the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, like the Super Bowl, and everything in you tells you that the Eagles are the better team, but it's like, but that team has Patrick Mahomes. We've seen it. Maybe there isn't a lot of rationality behind this. And like if Spain win 2-0 on Monday, you're going to be like, of course, like that was the better team. There's, this is a Argentina team that scraped by every round. But for me, like, you don't go broke betting against Messi. You go broke betting against Messi. You don't go broke when you're following him. So for me, I'm not going to doubt the GOAT.
But is this going to be the Kansas City Chiefs team that was widely criticized just finding a way to get past and get the results and then ended up getting blown out by the Philadelphia Eagles? I don't think it's going to be a blowout. The styles don't really lend themselves to that, and you have players so capable of individual moments of brilliance, but I do think Spain are a unique problem, and I do think that photo is going to have one of the game's all-time greatest, if not the greatest, bathing the guy that came for his stuff. Tom, thank you so much, buddy. We got Good Follow coming up next. A big thank you to the audience of the Dan Le Batard Show that has been so well receiving this morally abhorrent cycle. I've really enjoyed doing this for you. It's helped me recapture some enthusiasm that I have had for the sport. So thank you for the feedback. Thank you for supporting what we're doing. Thank you for all the comments and support. We really appreciate it. No morally abhorrence anymore. We're going to be covering the World Cup final on Monday like a proper show and give it the respect that it deserves. And it's because it's a World Cup. It's in our home. And we've risen to the occasion. American people have been wonderful. The tournament's been great. Let's have an all-time final. We'll talk to you on Monday. Good Follow next.
Welcome back to Good Follow, presented by DraftKings Sports. I am the kid Juju Gotti, joined by my sister Trista Crick as always. How you doing, sis?
Well, Juju, the Portland Fire beat the Atlanta Dream.
Oh,
I know you were going to try to keep that off the rundown, but
15 yards, personal foul.
I see you're not wearing your Atlanta Dream jersey today. You're wearing a Connecticut Sun, and I'm wearing
15 more.
Oh,
30
right.
yards that way.
Anyway, I'm doing great.
Damn it. She right now. But when she right, she right. This is what it's all for. If you can't dunk on your homeboy who root for the other team, then what is this America we live in? She is right, dog. Them Portland Fire, man, they are a resilient bunch. They tinkering with that lineup ever so slowly. And, brother, I would like to warn you before you go up there, or if they come into your building, you might get a little boot on your behind. What you think about the Portland Fire's recent success?
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably don't beat the Atlanta Dream without Angel missing that game in a boot. But we take the wins where we can get them. You know,
Yeah.
Carla's been playing great. Emily Enxler has been playing great. Megan Gustafson has really found her way. So this is a team that's not doing nothing in terms of real contention, but they're scrappy. They're fun. They're very fun to watch. And, anytime that I can rag on your favorite team when they play my favorite team, I'm going to do it.
For sure. Hey, did you see the tweet going around where Drake had his lips puckered up in the braids and somebody quoted it was like, why this remind me of Emily Enxler? Salute to Emily Enxler, man. You know what I mean? It's like she smoked 17 cigarettes a quarter. But hey, man, it ain't about how you look. It's about how you put the ball where it need to go. Neither here nor there. Speaking of putting things where they need to go, though, did you see my sister, Benaja Laney, threw the shoe? Now, she said she was throwing the shoe at John Quell, salute to Double J. But that thing traveled right where she wanted it to go. Bing.
Where is Double J, though? What's crazy is that I get that she's giving the shoe back to John Quell, but I don't see John Quell in frame at all.
Yeah, I saw a different angle. John Quell was like at half court. It's basically Josh Allen threw the ball, but hit the first row instead of the touchdown.
The wind took it.
Yeah.
Back away from John Quell. Sometimes you throw a paper plane and you try to throw it that way and it just goes all the way that way. That's what
exactly. And look at God. Sometimes God just pull up on you and hit the right person you've been beefing with the whole game by mistake.
Look what God did. Look what God did.
Right. Now, do you think it's fair or foul, though, to kick her out the game? Because she said she was throwing it to John Quell.
I think it's foul. I think even Marina and Sandy Brondello thought that she was throwing it at Jonquel and not at Marina. I think Marina's done a phenomenal job. And I think Liberty were coming back. They had momentum. But Nige obviously is a key piece on and off of what the Liberty want to do because she's been getting some DMPs that we don't really know why. But that's weird. I think in general, the Liberty had some momentum and ejecting her took the wind out of their sails. It could have done the other thing, by the way. Like, it could have actually inspired them. You just never know how that's going to go. But
right.
I think you can't eject someone for throwing a shoe.
Literally. I mean, who throws a shoe? In the words of Austin Powers. Bruh, I think the referees this year, bruh, this is the year of the referee. Referees around America, if you referee any WNBA games, high school games, look at the job these WNBA refs doing. Embarrassing. Get in the gym. I saw a brother the other day make a charge call. It was in the Portland-Atlanta game. A shot went in and won. He said, bow. But then he was like, yeah, it was a charge the other way. I'm like, this is not a charge call. What happened to this? This is the charge that way. We going that way. You feel me? We goofing the whole thing up at this point. But I'm going to ease up on the refs because there are some good refs. All cops ain't bad situation. All refs ain't bad. Salute to my sister. I ain't going to say your name, but you already know you do a good job. But speaking of the higher powers that be, the All-Star game is coming around the corner when she comes, which means them All-Star selections have been made. Did you see the list that may have excluded or included everybody you wanted to see?
I did, Juju. I'm looking at the reserves now.
Yeah.
I think Marina should have been a starter.
Before we get to the reserve, let's go back to the starters. Are there any snubs? Are there any snub noses in the building? Because, I see 3 Indiana Fever. I see 2 Lynx. PB&J, though. I ain't mad at PB&J. Paige, Jessica Shepard, my guys. Take a bow. But I don't know, bro. This list, it could have involved, like you say, Marina. Who else you think got snubbed? Or who couldn't have been here? Who would she replace?
Natasha Howard. I know that's a wing or a guard versus a front court player, so it doesn't really match. But okay, don't really like that. I think you can take out Kelsey Mitchell and put Marina in.
See, that's the controversy right there. Because if you know, you know. Kelsey is a dog, capital D, capital A, capital W, and G. But at the same time, this year right here, she's had spurts where on fire. Spurts where, okay, what's this? Taking it easy this game. But I feel like Marina ain't had that luxury, like you said. She done had to go ever since Slim went down, bye-bye. And this is a new franchise, different amount of pressure on sis. What you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. Making over $1 million a year, you're doing everything to back it up. You've been putting the team on your back. You're having crazy quarters. You're breaking or setting or keeping the 3-point record in terms of most threes made in a game. He's just been really good. I think 3 All-Stars from one team that's not the number one team overall is a little OD. It's a little, it's giving, there's a lot of Fever fans voting.
It's hard to argue that whenever culturally this thing is affecting a certain group and they're just, it's such a large group. They got Sophie Cunningham getting tweeted out by the White House. You dig? Sophie Cunningham, I saw she got some new shoes coming out. You feel me? Come on, they got stuff like this going on. Why wouldn't you vote for the Fever in? If I'm at the house and I'm a casual fan and I like DJ or DT up there in the office, I'm gonna go ahead and submit my little vote for little Sophie. You feel me? So yeah, man, I think that the voting system, how it is currently constructed, I don't know. The fans, we got a lot of power, which we should, but damn, in these instances, there are people on the other side that get hit. Prime example, Angel Reese spoke up. You did? Come on now. Angel Reese spoke up and said, Ryan Howard, where's she at? Alicia Gray, where's she at? Not being selected as starters. I mean, do you think she's right or wrong?
I'm going to put it on you. You're the Atlanta Dream fan. You've been watching a lot of Atlanta Dream games. We started this show talking about how the Portland Fire beat up on the Atlanta Dream. You guys have had, a big time skid in these last 2 weeks. You think that yeah, do you think any of those 3 players should be all-star starters?
I ain't gonna lie to you, bruh. After seeing the way that some of these games transpire, I like the fire that's gonna be lit under my dogs after this All-Star break. You feel me? Because they're gonna have to see all these girls starting. Yes, there is no reason that Ryan, Alicia, and Angel shouldn't be in the starting lineups. They should have the 3. But unfortunately, it's about this performance on this court this year. And we could do better. We could do a better job in some of these late game scenarios. We could do a better job in handling ourselves around that 3-point arc. We got a lot of work to do. So I don't necessarily, I mean, even though she's not wrong, I'm not putting no energy into that, bruh. If I'm them, I don't give a damn. But with the Valkyrie over us, we sliding. We done beat the Fever a couple times. Now they over us in the rankings. The punk ass Liberty, hell nah. So I'm more concerned about that, and I'm willing to see these fires get lit wherever they are. If it's All-Star Weekend, light a fire under my dog Ryan, let go. When we get back, it's showtime. What you think?
What do you think about NECA making the All-Star team this year? On a team like the Sparks that says down in the dumps. Like Alyssa Thomas leads the league in assists at 8.2 assists per game, but because the Mercury stink and sit in 12th place, why are we then giving NECA that same level of accolades when the Sparks have been garbage as well?
Because, bruh, I think that AT, salute, and I'm biased on the Phoenix Mercury too, because I think that they might be my actual arch enemy in the world. I love that they doing ass. Like, they so ass and it's fun. And it has nothing to do with Car. It has nothing to do with people over there. It's the organization. I think that might be what it is, bruh. You don't necessarily have the same affection when you see AT if you a W just lifer than when you see, you know what I mean, NECA. It's like, and on top of that, NECA situation, because even more than just the feeling we got for her, Cam Brink been down. You did? A lot of folks been going down over there in LA, and she done had to step up more than we kind of assumed she would have to after they lost with Azare, Rakia, building blocks, and they got Area Atkins. Not finna start. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna calm down. I'm not gonna go there. A lot of things ain't working out like we thought they was. You feel me? We getting way bigger games from Erica Wheeler than we ever expected we was going to get. And salute to E-Weezy. You feel me? Let my dog know. A bucket forever. But I think that's what it is, because she done had to step up. And it's Hollywood, baby.
What did you think about Brittany Sykes, aka Slim, getting on Twitter and being like upset that she didn't make the All-Star team when she's injured? Why do you want to be voted in when you can't play in the game?
Yeah, I feel her. And I feel her and I feel you. It's like she was going so crazy at a certain point that it was like, what is happening? Like, why does she just not drive to the hole every play? Because nobody can stop her. But that planar fast shot happened, what's that, 2-3 weeks ago now. And we still ain't got to the break. So I think my dog, she just doing what she got to do. She, man, I ain't make it. But no, good and damn well, boy. Your spot was in the rafters anyway. I know who ain't even scarfing about being on this list as a rookie, as a first-time All-Star, as a first to say, Olivia freaking Miles, dog. Oh, my God. Bruh, if she wasn't an All-Star, if she would have made the second team, that's when we would have had a real problem. You feel me? That's the real deal beef.
Yeah, I agree with that. Olivia's been incredible. We've got to keep an eye on Olivia's on-court demeanor, but she is a dog, and she says she doesn't want to get bullied or pushed around. But just know I'm watching you. Just know in 2026, in July, I'm watching for the future, whether this is Olivia Miles or whether she just doesn't want to get bullied. But it's going to be a very fun All-Star weekend. I do think to a degree, Angel Reese is like suited and booted so that she doesn't have to really do anything in Chicago and give Wintrust any of her star power. I'm not going there. I'm not going to the United Center. I'm not going to Wintrust. I'm not going back to Chicago. I'm going to hang out with my boyfriend, Wendell Carter, and you're not going to see the Bayou Barbie anywhere in any place that gives Chicago any shot.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
The boot is crazy. Like, I didn't recall like a little ankle sprain leading to the straight boot. Like, no, don't even think I'm coming to this All-Star weekend.
Boot my dog up right now, bruh. Like boot her up right now, bruh. She twist that guy, it needs the boot. ASAP.
I saw a photo of her in the boot.
When I saw the game, I was like, oh, damn, sis eating it up.
Yeah.
But look, for the first half of the season, I want to give out a couple awards before we go to break, man. And I want to ask who do you have in this position? So I'm going to ask you first. I'm giving this award to Letitia. I'm in here.
Oh,
say it again.
Best flop. Best flop
Exactly.
of the year.
Flopper of the first half of the season, my dog. Congratulations. Take a bow, sis, because you got a couple times when the snipers hit you
Honorable
from the roof.
mention, Caitlin Clark. She pretended to get kneed in the groin by Chelsea Gray. Phantom knee. She did not touch her. Where was that? And then she falls to the ground. Look at this. Oh my God.
Bruh. And the other side, the other angle, here we go. This will show the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Foul on Caitlin. You know what?
Oh my God.
It be bad, bro. If I'm a referee, we got to institute this, bro. If I take my behind over there and review this and waste all these folks' good power and this capability here, and I see you flopping on, technical foul on you, Caitlin. I'm so sorry. Check, because and she stayed mad too on the bench. She was like, "It's a effing foul. It's a effing foul." Sis, look at the jumbotron. You fouled her on the arm, and then you just
Where was the foul, Juju? Anyway.
Right, bro. It was a foul on Caitlin. Salute.
Bronze and silver medal go to Caitlin. And
For
even
sure.
Becky was like, this drama. I'm tired of this bullshit. They're like, we're going to review it for a hostile act at the Michelob.
Right, bro. Caitlin, girl, strike three. But also, okay, crash out of the year. Who do you think the crash out of the year so far is?
Ooh, crash out.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you my answer so you can think.
Okay.
My answer is Coach Sydney Johnson.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when the police are involved, then yes. Nobody else got police involved.
Nah, you're right. Tupac, I should have called it the Tupac of the Year award. Sydney Johnson. You saw the boy playing.
Hit him up in a coaching circle, crash out. And go to
Surprise of the year. Who do you give the surprise of the year to?
Portland Fire. Their win total was 11.5. They already have, let's see, what is it? 8, 9 wins? Let's see. 1-13, Juju. They literally have 2 more wins to go before they were supposed to have that many wins for the full year. They're better than the Sparks. They're better than the Mercury. This is a team that's very resilient. Carla Late not making the all-star roster kind of bummed me the hell out. They're the surprise of the year as a team. The surprise player of the year for me is Pauline Astier. The only reason that she's not completely demolishing is because Sabrina has come back, but off the bench, Pauline's still doing her thing. She had a bajillion fantasy points the other day. I think 26 off the bench, multiple steals, a block. She's shooting 3, she defends. She's a baddie. For me, the surprise of the year is Astier in the Fire. Who
She had a cajillion points. Matter of fact, it was 26, but not here nor there. Look, and I would like to give my surprise of the year. I'm so surprised and delighted that the Phoenix Mercury are so ass, man. It's now time for the DraftKings Sports Pick of the Week presented by DraftKings Sports. This week, we are watching the New York Liberty take on those damn Indiana Fever. Who we watching, sis?
Oh, Juju, you know we got to watch our girl, Aaliyah Boston for the Fever. The elbow, throw them Mo's against Stewie, against Jonquel. Who for you on the Fever?
On the Fever, I think I'm gonna stick with Aaliyah because she got that look in her eyes. And when she got no color in the braids, I like that. You did. She mean business right now.
What about for the Liberty for you?
For the Liberty, I think I'm gonna have to stick with that duck, man. That duck is going crazy right now. 18 points in the third quarter the other day. Big Sab, pardon me, Sabrina Ionesco. I'm keeping my eye on sis no matter what. And the win. I don't know about that win. Who you got winning though?
I think the Fever right now are on a hot streak. The Liberty are giving me scary hours.
I agree, dog. Look, this segment is presented by DraftKings Sports. DraftKings Sports, available now in all 50 states. The crown is yours. And that's going to do it for another week of Good Follow. Make sure to subscribe to Good Follow's YouTube page and all of his socials at Good Follow Show.
You can catch all new episodes of Good Follow every Thursday on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Good Follow, Juju, as always, is brought to you by DraftKings Sports, and we'll see you next week.